What's up a little bit? Muito. Mm. Mm. Look at all the little munchers. Oh, the little munchers. I hear you, Snoop. I knew you were gonna pop up and give me some hell about it anyway, weren't you? You were gonna give me some hell about it. I ain't been around YouTube for a long time. You ain't seen me. My God, where you been, Wingnut? All right. Got me a fire going. Put me in. I'm actually kind of sitting in the wrong spot, man. The damn wind's blowing in my direction. Yeah, loop over on this side. Damn puppies over there just mounting that. They're like bottomless pits. They won't stop eating. What's
Well,
up, Snoop?
happy Saturday. And where the hell have you been?
I've been around.
You haven't been on YouTube.
Yeah. I just haven't been live. That's all.
You're dead on YouTube.
No, I just haven't been live.
Well, I know. That's not like you, though. Would you get burned out?
I just hadn't had nothing to talk about, and I really still don't even have anything to talk about. That's why I want to find out what everybody else wants to talk about.
You have nothing to talk about? You always have something to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought something bad had happened. I was talking about you to a friend of mine, and I just was going, I haven't seen him. You weren't even in Indies on Monday, I don't think, or maybe you were.
Not on Monday, no.
Okay.
No,
Well,
I slept through that.
well, stop this crap. Don't make people worry about you. Not that I worried. I
I
didn't worry
slept
at all.
I slept through all that.
Why?
I don't know, just didn't have anything else to do.
Oh,
I
okay.
had some really good dreams. I wanted to keep going.
Well, you want to talk about streams?
Oh man, I don't know.
Wish I could remember my dreams.
Well, yeah, it
Were they
depends
good
on what
dreams
they
or
are.
nightmares? Did you have
Oh,
nightmares or good
I've
dreams?
never had a nightmare. I've never had one.
Well, maybe you wouldn't think they were, and other people would.
Yeah, maybe.
How old are the puppies?
They're about almost 6 weeks.
God. Oh,
Mm,
I saw your one short that you did with them just standing up there hanging on, and she's not even laying down. I've never seen anything like that.
yeah, that's how she's been feeding them. Just
It's
standing
like,
there.
it's like, okay, go ahead and eat, but I'm not laying down for this. I'm going to make it hard.
Oh shoot! The only time I've seen her lay down is like if I lay down on the ground too, and she'll lay down next to me, and then you know. But other than that, I'm getting them. Um, I'm getting them. Used to drinking water and eating regular food.
Oh my God.
Um,
So
then I'm
cute.
trying to get them prepared for when they find some families for them.
Leave mama and you.
Yeah. You know.
Life happens. Well, I shared you out in Indy's Discord, so maybe some people will show up.
Yeah, maybe.
I think everybody thought you'd fled the country since you haven't been on live.
Here.
Oh, just get used to seeing you show up here and there, you know?
Yeah.
Well, don't do this crap again. Oh my God, I'm up here fussing at you and other people can hear me. Oh well, I am who I am. What can I say? It's a Snooks thing.
I hear you.
So how's
Yeah.
how's everything with you and up where you are?
Well, you know, things could be worse. Things could be better.
Well, I
You
could
know.
talk to you about politics, but I'm sorry. Um, but I don't think you didn't think you'd like to talk about politics.
I don't know. It's just same old on that end of it, isn't it?
Well, I'm not happy with what Trump's doing with Venezuela.
Why not?
Because, shooting drug boats is one thing, which I'm still kind of iffy about when they're in international waters. I've got this thing about international waters, which I've been told that the United States has rights over international waters in this hemisphere, which includes South America. Um, but I have an issue with that. But taking down an oil tanker, that just kind of bothers me. That's assuming that they're carrying Iranian oil. It's not really being knowledgeable about it.
Yeah. Well, it's not unusual because I mean, honestly, if you actually do if you do your history, every conflict that we've gotten involved in, every country that we've gotten involved in militarily, um, has not been beholden to the central banking cartels. All right. They all are, we're trying to start their own currencies, their own money, and all that kind of stuff, and be basically independent from the petrodollar and all that other stuff. So, it's the same scenario, basically in a sense, it's all about money. It's a banker's war, but wars are just bankers' wars. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And it's the central banking cartels that want to continue to, keep control. That's the reason why any country that we get into a military conflict with ends up being, trying to do their own thing off of their fucking shit. You know,
Well, you do know I'm fairly conservative, not radical, and I'm kind of balanced towards the middle. But I have to say that, Trump is supposed to be keeping us out of wars, not getting us into wars. And why do we have to screw with Venezuela in South America? Why
because
is
from
it
the
our right to?
because from the get go, basically, of this fucking nation, we've been in a state of war ever since, and that is done on purpose. For
Well,
one, it puts us on a military standfoot, or a wartime standfoot, and which basically um, uh, it severs our sovereignty, our individual sovereignty, and they can use military powers and military, all that kind of stuff to keep us in a state of fear, keep us in a state of panic and all this other shit. Because I mean, you look at it every single time. It's like right after COVID, we got into Ukraine. Right after Ukraine, we got into Israel, and da 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 da. And I mean, you go way back in the past, it's been the same way. It's like it's been stepped. Everything, every time something happens, and if we, get it done with it or whatever, we'll move on to another one, and then another one, and then another one. It's just to keep us in that state of war scenario.
yeah,
Um,
well, I'm not happy about it. I mean, I know that we're supposed to be seen as a superpower, but actually our superpower look is diminishing.
yeah, well, you know,
And
that's done
like I
on
said,
purpose too.
I don't know. I just have a thing about going into international waters. If it's international, then who are we to go in there and say who can be in it? And who are we to say that Venezuela can't have Iranian oil or be, you know,
Exactly. Yeah,
like
I know.
I just
And
I I have a
because
problem
it.
with that.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's why I said that. It's like it's because we, the corporation posing as the government here in America wants to continue to have control over the money system, in a sense, the petrodollar, the fucking fiat currency, and stuff like that. And if they don't use our, if if they don't give the government their cut in it, then oh gosh, yeah, we can't have that, that kind of stuff. It's a mafia, dude. You think about it. The governments, all governments around the world are mafias, including the one that posing as the government here in America. It's a mafia. And if you
Mhm.
don't sit there and give the mafia their cut, you know, and what happens? You know, it's the same thing. It's like if you to what is it? Boil it down to like a smaller size. Like for instance, like you're in a town, a city or a town or something like that, and you just move in and you wanted to start like let's say you wanted to start a general store. Well, then the local mafia will come in and say, hey, this is a dangerous neighborhood and we offer
Mhm.
protection.
Right.
And you either have two choices. You could either accept it or not accept it. You accept it, you're under the boot of that mafia forever. If you don't accept it, they'll come back and burn your fucking business down, you know?
Yeah.
And that's basically how they plays out on a more massive scale also. It's just it's the same old, same old.
Mhm.
Um,
Well, Maduro's not accepting it, so now Trump is talking about sending troops into Venezuela, and, like, I just don't understand, like, where does he get off committing to that? We didn't ask for that.
and we've never
Not with
asked
us
for
saying
any
it.
war.
We're not gonna
We've
say
never
it.
asked for any of them. Never, never in our history have we asked for it. No, they've convinced us that we need to go this, or they've done it without our consent in any way. They've
That's
done it
true.
every single time. You
Now,
know.
is Maduro a good guy? No, the cartels own him, but he's certainly benefiting from it, but let South America take care of it.
Yeah, I
Let
mean,
Venezuela
that's
take care of it.
we shouldn't be involved in any anything around the nation. It's the same
No, we
thing
should
with the Israel. It's the same thing with the Israel and Palestine scenario. It's the same thing with the Russia and the Ukraine scenario. The
absolutely.
same thing with the Israel and fucking Iran scenario. It's not our fucking business. You
No,
know what I
let them
mean?
all
And
settle it over
and
there.
it's just not our business. It's not the role of the government. It's not the American people's role to be the piggy bank of the world, and it's not the America's role to be the police of the world either. That's just what the powers that should not be have done. and they put all of us basically the collateral to pay for it all. And
You're right.
it's all a fucking racket. It's all it is. That's all it is. It's just it's like I said. As I have said this too. It's like a real life version of was it Game of Thrones? Like the Game of Thrones. You've seen that?
Oh yeah, 9
Um,
times.
well, all right. It's just like a real life version of that. That's what that is. And each fucking country has their own fucking king in a sense, and they all fight for the same thing. But the thing is, it's like they're all working together for the same common goal, which is basically the one world government. All right,
Mhm.
but they all are in competition with each other. It's kind of like you know, it's like Coke and Pepsi. Coke and Pepsi are not competitors. They're owned by the same corporation. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing in the government
They
scenario.
are.
All these governments are in competition with each other, but they're all owned by the same fucking people. You know what I mean? They're
Mhm.
all in for the same goal. Like I said, it's all the one world government. And where it's heading straight into this Agenda 2030, Agenda, America 2050, the digital ID, the fucking, and that's getting really bad. I mean, hell, just recently in Australia, um, they're rolling out this was it child protection on the internet type fucking law. It's like because they want to keep kids under the age of adult age or whatever off
16.
the internet. All
Kids
right.
under
Well,
16.
right. Well, what that ends up doing is it's like a backdoor scenario where now everybody, no matter what age, has to put in their facial recognition and biometrics and stuff just to prove that they are old enough to get on it. So that just brings in that digital ID and all that other crap for everyone. And they just say it's because of the kids. It's because of the kids. They don't give a shit about the fucking kids. You
Well, I
know.
look at it when they do it with the kids as the parents need to be more responsible and keep their
Well,
kids
that's
off
the
of it.
thing, but that's the thing. The government wants to be your daddy. The government wants to be your fucking parents.
Mhm.
They don't think that the parents themselves can do it. So the government has to do it, and they want to be able to do it, and that's how they're going to use this as a way to usher in the digital ID, the social credit scores, and the fucking all this, the carbon credit scores, the fucking the digital currency, all this other shit. That's how they're gonna use that as the way to push it in. It's because of the kids. It's like they did over in Europe. They did the fucking digital ID over there. It's because of the fucking migrants. Well, the fucking migrants don't give a shit about this stuff, man. But what ends up happening is everybody ends up being a part of it and being forced into the system and stuff, you know.
Mhm.
And like they just use the kids over in Australia, and that's probably how they're going to try and use that kind of shit, some kind of way like that here in America. They did the same thing with the fucking real ID here in America. Basically forcing people into getting it. By forcing the states to be in compliance with it, and then the states won't give you an option to get a regular driver's license or a regular ID. Like in Florida, you don't even have an option to get just a regular ID. You have to get a digital. I mean, the real ID.
Mhm.
The one with the little gold star, the red star, whatever it is.
Yeah, I know, I have
Mm.
that.
Yeah, I know. I mean, see DeSantis and all that stuff, they became in compliance with it, which is a UN initiative. It's not an American initiative. This is UN fucking pushing this fucking shit. And that's the same thing with the digital ID. This is the UN and the EU and the fucking Trilateral Commission, all this other crap pushing this agenda, for the one world government. And that, the one and these psychopaths that want to be the masters of the universe and control all the resources of the planet. And then, you will own nothing and be happy and eat bugs. That's their whole fucking plan for us, and they've had this fucking plan in play for a long time. I mean, and if people don't really see it, it's like that's their fucking problem, man. It's like it's been in the play. been in the playbooks for shit. I don't know, 40 years, probably longer. You know what I mean?
I'm seeing it more.
But I'm just
My
one
eyes
saying
are
it.
I know my eyes are opening more, and I think that they are starting to push it with the kids here in Florida.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, they'll,
I think it's
use,
already started.
yeah, they'll use, oh, it's because of the kids and all this other stuff. They don't care about the kids. What they want is they want everybody, on it. They want everybody surveilled, everybody spied upon and tracked, everybody, not just the kids, you know what I mean? Um, so they don't give a shit, they want to push this fucking shit on everyone. And it just drives me nuts, man. And I was sitting there talking to Algo about this last night. You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
in some ways, I kind of agree with him, but then there's other things, and I'm just like, dude, that's just not how the reality of the world is. It's like, yeah, his viewpoint is just opt out. Just don't participate. That's fine. I'm okay with that for me. But I'm thinking about, like, for instance, the next generations, or like the people, the kids that aren't even born yet, what they're going to be born into, and they're going to know nothing else other than that, because this is just how it is. They're going to
Wait a
be
minute,
born into
don't participate in what?
the whole fucking thing, like digital ID and their whole playbook of keeping us in fear and blah blah blah. Don't even fucking do it. You know, um, it's just one of them things. It's like, it's like, yeah, that's fine. I can do that for myself. Yeah. And I have no worries about me. But, it's like I said, it's like for instance, the children that aren't even born yet, that will be born into the system. Hell, we were born into a slavery system, economic slavery system. We were
Yes.
born into it.
I know
And
about the
then,
birth certificate.
yeah,
You're not the only one who talks about it.
and that's the thing, though, is like, but, we, even though we don't know anything different other than what we were born into, unless we actually, make the effort to, find out for ourselves, because they're not going to tell us there's an option. There's an alternative to their shit. And, and then that's the thing. It's like, if they crank out all this stuff, the digital ID and da 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 and all this other crap, the kids that are going to be born in the next, the next kids that are going to be born, that's what they're going to be born into. That's all they'll know. They'll know we won't have any fucking rights. They won't have any rights because, you know, uh, the powers that be, they don't want us to have rights. They don't want to recognize our rights.
Let me
And,
ask you something in just a minute. Hello, Outlaw Pistolero.
what's up, Ella?
You had somebody come in the chat. Do you know this person?
No, I don't recognize the name.
Okay, but hello.
Man.
I was going to ask you, if we don't have birth certificates, how do we prove that that's who we are and that's our name? Don't we
Well,
need some proof of our existence in our name?
put it
What
this
state
way.
we were born in?
Well, there was a time when we didn't have to have them, and we were able to prove who we were. And most of the way is because, when we were born, we would write it back in the back of our Bible, and, our birth and all that other stuff. And then our family kept those records and stuff like that. My granddad used to be a genealogist when he was alive. And that's how we used to, that's how he would trace family trees for, especially for people that were born before 1913 and all this other shit. When it comes down to the Federal Reserve, the fucking the birth certificate and all that stuff was put into place. Before all that, that's how we kept track of our lineage, our family tree. Is that we'd write those things down in the back of our Bible.
Yeah, in the Bibles. But there was a lot less population back then too.
Yeah. So what?
And then people took their word at, like, what's your name? You said what your name was,
Yeah.
but then you could go anywhere else and say your name was something else.
Yeah. But the thing is,
I
it's
don't
like,
have a problem with a birth certificate. Hello, Lurley.
I do. Because what it does is it puts us under the 14th Amendment fucking jurisdiction as a federal fucking citizen. And
I don't
I'm not
feel the government owns me because of my birth certificate.
well, they look at it that way.
I don't know. I like getting
You
out of
might
my
not
house.
you might not look at it like that,
No.
but they sure as hell do. Because what happens is when your mother fucking signed that birth certificate over, basically, that became a contract, all right, and that contract, um, that became was a Sesquitate trust or whatever you would say it. It became, and they end up trading it on the international stock exchange and all this other stuff, and
How
and
is my name
they
traded on the stock exchange?
through that straw man which was created with the birth certificate.
Why am I not understanding that?
And like I said, it's kind of complicated in some ways, and they make it that way for a reason because they don't want people to realize, what really happened. But when that birth certificate was created, there was a trust actually created, basically a bank account created.
Mhm.
And that was created with like, was it a few $1 million in that bank account? And over time, it grows, because it gets traded in the international stock exchange and all that stuff. People are making money off of you just being alive, right? Because of that birth certificate.
Where's
You
my
know?
dividends?
Well, there are ways to get a hold of that stuff, but most people don't know about it, and they don't make it easy because they don't want people to be sovereign and sovereign people like what we were supposed to be, free sovereign people like we were supposed to be, how this country was founded to be. They don't want that to be a reality. They want to, because when the Federal Reserve was created and all that stuff, man, and it they made every single person in America the the assurity or the collateral for the debt, because before then the America had a balanced budget. All right, we weren't getting taxed to death. We were getting very little taxes were coming out of our money. And then on top of that, all the money that was to run the nation was coming from tariffs. All right. Well, when they created the Federal Reserve and the fiat currency and all that stuff, and then they got rid of the gold and silver, which is the true constitutional money. They created debt instead of actual money. And that debt, well, who has to pay that debt? Well, it's our labor that has to pay that debt because they made us collateral for that debt, and technically it wasn't created to ever pay the debt off. It was created just to sit there and pay the interest forever and keep
Mm.
amounting more and more. Why do you think they go at the 330 trillion? Well, actually, it's like 100 and some odd $1 trillion according to the debt, because they just keep on, and that'll just get even worse with digital shit. It'll get even worse. And now on top of that, it would be easier to steal your identity, steal your wealth through that digital means. You know what I'm saying? You got a birth certificate and social security card on paper, but when that becomes digital and that's all you have, man, you know how easy it would be to like sit there and basically steal your identity then and steal your wealth. You know what I mean?
Just
And
about.
then on
Well,
top of that, it'd turn into something like over in fucking England and stuff, where, hell, you can go to jail for fucking making a mean tweet. You know what I mean? Um,
just a minute. I just want to say hi to Moonchild and SM. You've got people
oh,
saying
what's
hi to you,
going
making comments.
what's going on? Let's hear it. Take in mind what he's
We know
speaking about.
Moonchild.
It's their system, their fiat, their legal fiction. Not to mention what he has already covered. Yeah, I mean, yeah, seriously, And the thing is like I've said this so much over the years. I get tired of it too because I feel like a broken record in a lot of ways, and it feels like a lot of times nobody's fucking listening, and they don't take the time to do their own research and find it out for themselves. And even me, I mean, I'm still kind of lacking in shit. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I should, what I should do is live by the Constitution and live by the fucking and the reality of it all, and turn in my, my driver's license, and revoke my birth certificate and all that stuff and become a state national, and stuff like that, because that's basically what we are. We're not federal citizens,
All right, wait a minute. What's a state national? You gotta let me
well,
ask questions.
yeah, well, all right. I'm gonna try and
Definitions
figure out
what?
how I can explain this. I mean, I'm
Why?
not the
Because
best
you
way.
think I'm
I'm
too
not the best
stupid to
person to
understand?
explain it. I'm not the best person to explain it. You know what I mean? Because I
I
mean,
Yeah, but if you're
it,
gonna make a statement like that, you should be able to explain it. Just
well,
in
all right.
general
I'm
terms.
trying.
You
I'm
don't
trying
have
to.
to get co
I'm trying to
get
figure out how to. All right.
Wayne, don't get complex.
No, I'm just saying. All right. All right. I live and I am a part of Florida. All right,
Mhm,
the commonly known as Florida, the
mhm,
territory commonly known as Florida.
okay.
So technically, that's where I live. All right, I do not live in the federal jurisdiction, which is that 10-mile square of Washington D.C. around the
Mm,
Capitol, because that is the District of Columbia. All right, when you are a federal citizen under because the United States in all capital letters is a corporation. All right, and they want all of us as employees or dependents of that corporation. All right, and under the 14th Amendment and all this other stuff, and claiming that you're a citizen of the United States, you are under their jurisdiction. You're their property and territory. All right.
mhm,
But that's not being a free individual, free man or woman. You know, when they created the birth certificate, they and it's the same thing with the digital ID. They want to make the all caps letter name, which is the straw man that was created with the birth certificate, one and the same as the flesh and blood. And the flesh and blood is not the same, because God created us, or the Creator created us, the flesh and blood. The
mhm.
government created the straw man, which is that all caps letter name that was created with the birth certificate. All right. When and claiming that you're a United States citizen under the federal scenario, you are property of the federal government. All right, that's how they view it. All right, that's how it's viewed to them. You might not view it that way, but they do. That's why they claim jurisdiction over you, where they can require you to get a driver's license, require you to do this, or mandate you to fucking get a vaccine, or mandate this, blah blah blah, because you're their property. Um, you know, but technically, that's the thing too. Most people believe that the birth certificate, all capital letter name, is the same as the flesh and blood, and that's how they get away with it, because most people don't know that there's a difference between the two. And it's basically compliance through fraud and theft and all this other shit. Like I said, it's just there's a whole lot of crap there, and I'm not the most articulate person to explain it either. There's
You're
a
doing
lot. There's
fine.
people that are much more articulate than I am to explain it. Because um, it's all a fraud. It's been a fraud for a long time. And like I said, I mean, even me going and do get a driver's license, I'm technically committing fraud when I go get a driver's license, because when I get a driver's license, I'm claiming that I'm a driver, and I'm claiming that my automobile is a motor vehicle. I'm technically lying. I'm technically committing fraud to do that. You know what
Well,
I'm
you're
saying?
committing fraud because that's not your belief, but it is an
No, no, it's
automobile
not a
and you are
belief.
a driver.
It's not. No, 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 no. A driver is operating a motor vehicle on the roads for commerce, and I don't do that. That's not.
Well,
I'm a
I
traveler.
think you're getting really picky about that.
No. I'm using the literal legal definitions of the words. All right, and yes, it might sound picky, But that's exactly how they hook us into this fucking system, because they're the legal definitions of the words. You know, I'm not a driver because I do not operate a motor vehicle on the roads for commerce. All right, that's a taxi driver. That's a
Okay,
truck
so if it
driver.
was okay,
That's a, go ahead.
if it was worded different, would that be less fraudulent?
Okay, put it this way: a traveler, and that's a constitutional right, not a privilege. A driver is a privilege. All right, and a privilege can be taken away. A right cannot, because
Do you
it's
under do you
you
have any
know
idea what a traveler really is? They're gypsies.
a what now?
The word traveler refers to gypsies. That's
Not
what
really.
gypsies call
Not the
themselves.
legal
Yes, they do.
definition.
In Europe,
Not the
yes, you do. They would argue that to death with you.
Well, not in America, and not the legal definition. All
Okay,
right.
we
I'm
have
talking about
gypsies in
legal
America
definitions,
too.
not the Webster dictionary definition. I'm
Okay.
talking legal. All right. And if you look at the legal definition, if you look under like the traffic, was it the traffic code, the definitions under the traffic code of what a traveler is and what a driver is, and what traffic is, what a motor vehicle and an automobile is, and the differences between them in the legal sense, there's a major difference. One is a right, one is a privilege. All right. And they want to, they've convinced all of us that we are drivers. So, because then we would be, we would get into this contract, because when you get a driver's license, you're entering into a contract. That's exactly what it is a contract. And you have to abide by that contract. And that contract is a privilege, all right, to, operate, which is actually a term in commerce, and operate a motor vehicle, which is under commerce, and also driving or traffic and all that stuff is under commerce. All right.
Okay,
And
do
the
you want the
government,
right or do you want the privilege?
I would rather have the right. The
Which
rights are much more valuable than privileges.
I don't know.
And the thing is they've hoodwinked all of us into converting our rights into privileges. And that's the slave system that we've been born into. We've been told from our parents and our grandparents and all this stuff that we've got to get a driver's license. We've got to get a birth certificate, blah, 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 blah. And that's how they've hoodwinked all of us into their system. And so they can have jurisdiction and control over our living body,
Okay.
and
You're getting
go
some
ahead.
comments here. I don't know if you want to refer to them or not.
Hold on. Let me see here.
Might be
Code
interesting.
statute. Let's see here. Codes and statutes are not for you and me, an individual. So, if so, why have laws? Yeah. See. Laws. See, laws. Only the Creator creates laws. All right. And if you take the word law, the letters LAW stands for land, air, and water. Only the Creator creates law. All right. Only men create statutes, codes, policies, rules, regulations, mandates, edicts, all this other shit. All right. And that is the system that they've created to keep us enslaved on a monetary slave system. All right. Keep us basically enslaved under their thing to create wealth for them. Yeah. 14 USC 1981. Yeah. See, that's another thing too. A lot of people don't really even look into, United States Code and all that stuff, the USCs and stuff like that.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah, I mean, and there's thousands of people that are held in jail and prison right now that are unconstitutionally in prison and in jail. All right, but the thing is like, they've gotten away with it because nobody debates it or rebuts it. Because they believe that hell they I got to do what they tell me to do. This is exactly how the fucking the people of the fucking other countries and stuff that have kings and shit, how they believe they're serfs, they're fucking subjects of the fucking king. And that's exactly how they've played it out in this country. They've convinced us that the government is the almighty, powerful, and we're just subjects, and we just, you know, the government doesn't work for us. We work for it in reality, but in theory, and the way it was supposed to be set up, that we, the people, are the ones in power, and the government is our servants. That is a big lie that they've been perpetuating to us ever since basically after the Civil War. You know what I mean? And after all that shit, when we became the Union and became the fucking United States, actually it used to be, it originally it started as um, these United States for America, and then they changed two words in that. They changed it to the United States of America. And if you actually look in the grammar of that, it changes the grammar of that sentence or that
It
title.
does. No, it does. I didn't know that. That's
That's
interesting.
how it started. And now it's not even that anymore. Now it is the United States in all capital letters. That is a corporation. All right. Was it 18 USC 3002 section A or something, 15A. It says United States is a corporation. And that's the thing too, is like we've been hoodwinked and all our lives. We've been lied to all our lives when it comes down to it. And but the thing is, most people don't want to believe that, because they've been told this all their life, and they don't want their whole reality, bubble burst, by the truth, and that's why so many people can't accept the truth, is because this is what they've been telling us for over 230 years.
Yeah, but everybody has a right to believe in their truth, don't you think?
It's not a belief, though. That's the thing. I don't subscribe to belief, Snooks, and I've said this before. Belief is always in conflict and the enemy of knowing. All right. Once you are in the knowing, you'll begin to see the truth. Because honestly, man, the belief, it's subjective. Knowing is not. I think knowing is more objective. There's a difference between subjective truth and objective truth. And because
I think the two are
subjective,
compatible.
yeah, but subjective is actually, it can be individual. Like whatever you like, for instance, it's like how words have been weaponized against us nowadays. Is like, now words just like, whatever the definition, whatever you want the definition to be is the definition. Well, no, words have definitions, and if words don't have definitions, they have no meaning. And if you can define a word, anything that you want it to be as a subjectively, then words have no fucking meaning. You know what I mean?
I know somebody who believes very strongly in the way you're saying about words, and so I get that.
Well, the thing is like, the more you see it, the more you are aware of it. And that's the thing about me. It's like, it's like for every one of us out there, that our eyes are opened, and you begin to see the truth, the actual objective truth of it all. We become outcasts, it seems like, because hey, what's up, Cheryl?
Well, you've got good comments again. I don't know if you want to refer to the chat or not, but you're getting really good comments, better than what I could have.
Hold on.
I'm holding on.
How do you have a democracy in a monarchical universe? It all starts with religion and the church. See, that's the
Why
thing
does
too. It's
everything
like,
go back to religion and church?
well, because that's where government stems from. That's where government came from. It's from the church. That's where the first government started from, is from church, or from religious means. Because before government, that's what we had, was the church.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
it all stems from that. Even the government here in this nation, it was stemmed from religious and Christian beliefs and theology, and that's
I just
how it started.
There's almost no subject you can talk about that religion does not come into it at some
Well,
point.
because government is a religion,
Even
Snooks.
I'm not talking about government. I mean, any
Yeah,
subject on much, somehow religion
yeah,
always comes into it, and there's times where I just want to keep it separate,
right.
and
Well,
it's
you
like you
can't.
can't.
No, you can't because they're one and the same. Government and religion are one and the same. They try and say, "Oh, separation of church and state." Well, there's no such thing because they're one and the same. All right, and that's how it. That's where it stems from. That's if you look at through history for thousands of years, how things evolved, and that's where it all stems from. And democracy is mob rule. The word democracy. And I'm just reading Outlaws thing, and democracy was never even mentioned once in the Bill of Rights, the Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence. Our forefathers vehemently hated democracy. That's the reason why we went to a constitutional republic.
What does
But the thing,
democracy mean?
a democracy is mob rule. Like the
Okay.
51% of people can vote and overrule the 49%. And like for instance, your rights or your privileges become up to a vote if you had in a pure democracy. All right.
Mhm.
If they decided that, if the majority of people in your neighborhood decided they don't like you and they want you out, that's democracy because they can vote you out. You
Whoa.
know what I mean? That's a democracy. Constitutional republic is more in line with the individual sovereign rights and sovereignty. When it comes down to the individual, is the more, the most vast minority on this planet is the individual, and it protects the individual versus
That's a good
the
explanation.
yeah. Instead of the masses of people, it's like they try to say something like, it's like what is it? For the good of the people or good of society or whatever. That's a democracy, basically. When people can basically vote, or they can vote, to be the the, the ruler over the 49%. The 49% have no choice, you know.
Yeah. I just
And
want to say
but
that Cheryl Rich has a question for you.
let me go back to it.
Oh, sorry. Do you want me to tell you these things or not?
I'm going back and forth, but
Interacting
sometimes
with chat is very good. I'm just letting you know.
Wina, how many people do you think really know about this? I wouldn't have a clue. Most people wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah, and and that's the thing too. That's done on purpose, Cheryl. Most people don't know about it because they don't teach this shit. They don't want you to, they don't want you to know about the true power that we have as people. Um, you know, um, you got these sicko psychopaths that want to rule and be the masters of the fucking universe and control everything, because they're just what they are. So technically, how I learned it, I had to go out on it and learn it for myself. You know what I mean? I had to be, I had to go out and find out for myself. They didn't teach this shit in schools. They don't teach this shit in schools, because that's not how schools were made up. Public school system in this country was started by the Rockefellers and the Carnegie Foundation, and their whole goal was to just create obedient workers. That was the reason why the public school system was started in this country,
I
to
forgot about
create
the Roths.
obedient workers.
Not, no,
Um,
I forgot about who did you say here in the United States?
what, for the public school system?
No, you said the families.
Yeah, the two families that started the public school system here in America was the Rockefellers and the Carnegie
Okay.
Foundation.
Yep, that's it.
And these are British fucking assholes. Um, you know, but they're the ones that started the public school system to create obedient workers, not critical thinkers and sovereign people. You know what I mean? That's not what the whole public school system was created about. Um, what was Russell Gould talking about? I'm not sure,
I
Daryl.
don't know who Russell Gould is. Yeah, I'm just not real sure.
I'm not familiar right offhand. I have to be reminded if I do know about it. I don't. I'm not. I don't. I can't think of it right offhand.
Sir Sear Real Nil Mill. I'm still trying to figure out what you won. You keep saying that you won, but what did you win? Of course, you could be trolling. Who knows? But you just keep on winning. Well, I'm so
But,
surprised, and I'm so surprised you had nothing to talk about. You have a lot to talk about. See,
well,
I got you started.
like I said, I I get to the point sometimes, man, because I've said it so much over the past 30 fucking years. I get tired of talking about it because it, it just seems like a lot of people aren't fucking paying attention and they don't really give a shit. You know what I mean? So I get
But you
tired
don't
of it.
really but but when you don't know that people don't give a crap, you don't know what they're doing after they've heard your words. You may have opened if you open one person's eyes, then they go and open other eyes.
Well,
And that's a
yeah,
good way to look at
I kind
things.
of agree. I kind of agree. You know what I mean? I mean, it would be nice if, if one person got something out of what I ever said and they're like, wait a minute, was Wingnut telling the truth? Or is he full of shit? I'm gonna do some research, you know what I mean? And then they go out and they find out for themselves,
That's right.
because I mean everything that I've talked about, you can find out.
If you
And
reach one person and that person goes and reaches two people, then it goes on and on and on. See? So that's kind of how I look at things. If I
so,
can get to
so
one
uh,
person, then that might affect another person who will affect two people.
was it Catherine? So the Rothschilds were not involved in setting up the school system. Yeah, no, the Rothschilds and the Carnegie Foundation are the ones that set up the public school system here in America. They are the ones. They were involved.
Hmm. See, you see, you're making an impact in that people are asking you questions and giving you opinions. So you're already making an impact on your chat.
Yeah.
So don't think that what you say is futile, Wing.
Well, no, I mean, it's like I was saying, I like I said, I was sitting there. I've had this conversation with Algo and Tate and Indy last night, and we were in there talking about this kind of shit because we sat there and watched a couple of movies and stuff, and a lot of some of these old movies are almost like, in my opinion, almost like warnings, um,
A lot of them
for
are predictions.
well, if I think they're more like warnings, if not almost like predictive programming in a way, but there's a lot of these things, because I view movies just like they're just stories, just like for thousands of years, even if it was word of mouth or written on paper or made into a fucking movie, they're just stories.
Hmm.
All right. And somebody trying to tell a story, if it's trying to do like predictive programming or to warn us in one way or another, or to just reveal a thing, kind of like 1984,
Hmm.
by George Orwell. I mean, that was a warning right there. You know, that was him warning us. That was a story that he was trying to tell everybody, and that was a warning. It's the same thing with movies. It's like, it's not a lot of the movies that have been made over the years, like the ones that we've been watching recently, like it's a bunch of stuff like back in the 80s and 90s and stuff that I grew up with, and,
Yes, I
you
know
know,
because you're so old.
but I'm just saying, it's like, this is the stuff that I grew up with, and, and at the time, I didn't really see all the symbology, all the metaphors, and all the warnings and all that other stuff at that time because I was so young. All right, but
Hmm.
it stuck with me. And then also, when you watch those same movies at an older age, you see all that shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, can I
Um,
interject here?
yeah.
Okay. I used to look at movies, like you said, as just movies and entertainment.
Hey,
But
Andy.
since, hi there, Indy, sweet Indy. Anyway, and I've gotten my mind open by Indy. I've gotten my mind open by you. But I tell you, when it comes to the movies, Peanut really opened my mind. Um, to where I look at things a little bit differently. I'm still going to be entertained, but I watched this movie recently called Winter's Tale. And
Right.
it when I first watched it, I thought of it as a romantic love story, and I cried at the end. I still cried at the end this time. But it's actually a war between God, the devil, heaven, and mortals. And it just, when I looked at it that way, which became so evident this time, I just finished the ending of it yesterday. It was like a whole different movie, but it was still a great movie. But it was definitely telling you more than you would have known, I would have known before, because I looked at it differently and realized what it was saying.
Yeah,
So it's
your
a
eyes
great
are probably
movie.
just your eyes were just opened up a little bit more, and you
Opened a
were able to,
lot more. I look at
you know, I
movies a lot
mean,
different now.
well, that's the thing. It's like, like for instance, like like the movies that we were watching last night. What was it? It was Dark City and Lawnmower Man. That's the two that we watched last night.
I've
All
seen
right,
both of them.
and yeah, Outlaw. Yeah, we watched Dark City and Lawnmower Man last night on Indies backstage and shit, and both of them had some really crazy fucking things in it. All right, and at the time when those movies came out, I was still young. All right, but it didn't register exactly what they were trying to portray. All right. But you watch them now at the age of 51 now, and my eyes are opened up a lot more. You see more and more of the stuff that they were trying to portray. And what I would consider warnings. You know what I mean? Um,
When I look at movies now, I think I'm going to be looking at them very differently. I'm still going to enjoy them, and I may still look
yeah.
at some superficiality in them, but I think I'm going to be looking to see if they mean more than just that superficial part, which makes it more interesting for me.
Well, I mean, there is some entertainment quality
Yeah.
I can see out of movies. I can get it. I get it. But but whoever wrote the movie and stuff, they're trying to tell a story. What's up, Joe? And they were trying to tell a story. All right. And through the movie itself, they're trying to portray their story. Like Wag the Dog. That's a good one too. We watched that not too long ago. I saw that when it came out also, but we watched that not too long ago. Also, again, that's a good one too. Like a Manchurian Candidate. That's another good one. Or They Live. That's another good one. All kinds of. There's a lot of stuff out there that these stories that somebody, the people that are writing these stories, made it into a movie. And in some aspects, if your eyes are not, quite open enough, you can enjoy the entertainment quality of it. I can get it. I get it. But there's all kinds of stuff that's in the story that they're trying to portray. It's the same thing, like I said, it's like, a lot of these books, like 1984, George Orwell, that book itself, and then when they made it into a movie, it's just like the type of warnings that he was trying to express to us. And people, it's like if you're not, if your eyes aren't opened up enough where you can see these things and, and, and digest it, you just look at it as an entertainment, basically.
Well, yeah, that's what
Um,
I always did. And I may still not get everything in every movie, and maybe not every movie has subtle meanings in them, but it does make me a lot more aware, and it's yeah, it's interesting.
well, there is. I mean, honestly, I think every movie does have a subtle meaning. It doesn't have to be on the political or religious end of it. It could be
Yeah.
just like a love story, like fucking, like was it, uh, uh, or they're just talking about love story or some shit like that. It's talking about love, whatever. You know what I mean? It's basically a story, trying to portray a narrative in a sense, or whatever. But
Joe
like
Cool's fussing at you. I just want to tell you.
I saw him come in, but I didn't see him say anything. What did he say? Hold on.
Well, he said a few other things. Hey, you know what, Joe Cool? Wrenches aren't that big a deal, okay? Live with it. Sorry, I had to get at him. Is this the Joe Cool that I butt heads with so much?
I guess like he was up here last time when me and you were up here, and then
Oh yeah,
Survival
he's the
Living
one.
came
Yeah,
up.
yeah. He's the one that
Yeah,
makes me
that's the
bang
same.
my head in the wall, and
That
then
was
I
the,
just come back and bang his head on, with my head. Oh, I love Joe. It's just that,
I used to have a
oh,
wrench. I
oh,
did,
nice.
Joe. I didn't take a wrench away from you. I didn't even know. I didn't even think you had a. No, I don't think I took a wrench away from you, and I don't think I ever gave you one. So
Yeah.
there.
So there you go, Joe. You never had
There
one to
you
take
go.
away.
Yeah, I didn't. I don't think you had one to give away or take away.
Joe, you're such a mess. What a mess. You
I've
want to let him?
given
You want to let
very
him up
few.
here?
I've given. Yeah, I mean the damn links in the fucking thing.
You
Or
have
no,
to
I didn't
scroll
pin it.
way up.
I didn't pin it. Hold on.
You didn't pin it.
No, I didn't.
Joe,
I'll just put it
you
in there.
come up
I'll
here,
put it
you
in there
have to
again.
behave, I swear to God, and you have to let others talk, and you can't interrupt like I do. You
Yeah,
can't be me, okay? This belongs to
anybody
me.
that's in the chat, if I know you, you're welcome up on panel. All right,
Yeah.
um,
Some of you
and
made
continue
some
the
really
conversation.
good comments. You ought to come up, says Snook. Yes, I know, but NDC, I did say that. Don't be like me, okay? I'm owning it. I'm owning it. Can you like take Indy's wrench away and then give it back to her in an hour? Indy, I swear to God. Love you, Indy.
holding people's wrench, holding people's wrenches hostage.
I know she calls me out on stuff. It's so bad. I call myself out on it, okay? You don't have to do it. I really do. Oh my God. Your dog's name is Scarf. That's a good name. In real life, your name is Mess. Sir Cyril Nilmill. I feel like you're in England or something.
I'm
What?
showing the puppy off. Hold
Oh,
on,
I
yeah.
didn't see it. I want to see it.
Hold on, I'll do
Oh,
something
no, I
else.
missed it. Okay, there I'm back.
Yeah, you missed it.
I missed it. Well, you can do it again. Oh my God. They're little fatties. Well, it's not so fat. No, it's just perfect. Is that a different fire barrel?
No, it's the same one.
Looks like
I
a
just
gold
see a raccoon in the background.
a raccoon.
No.
No, you didn't see a raccoon.
No, I thought I saw something in the background.
That was a puppy.
Oh, okay.
A raccoon. Hey,
Uh,
Joe.
hey there. I wasn't zoomed in. I see now. Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
Yo,
A puppy.
you didn't see the whole thing about the wrench, man. I said I used to have a wrench. Anarchy took it after we broke up with each other.
Oh,
Oh, God.
That was the last part of the comment. That's what was funny.
Y'all never break up.
I meant like a couple on some shit. He know I got a goofy sense of humor. I was talking about like we were a couple, and damn it, well, I'm taking my wrench back. I was, going full gay twisted.
How you been?
I've been good, man. Good and bad. The family is not doing well. This is really bad. Cancer returned to my brother, and we got to do something drastic.
I'm so
So
sorry.
yes, but there's also the family started coming out. So I got, family visiting, you know what I'm saying, and niece and sisters over here. And, the house is packed with all the women. Like it ain't been since I don't remember. So, I don't know. It's good and bad. Right. It's good that picked up my niece. I can't remember how long ago since I last saw her. I picked her up from the airport last night.
Hmm.
And also, I take care of my mom. She had a stroke. So I got a huge break today. They just hovering around her and having all the girls in there. I ain't had to do shit all day. So it's cool. That's cool.
You have a mother who tolerates you? God
Yes.
bless her.
Yeah, well, she's got to. God damn it, somebody got to do shit for her.
I'm sure you're a good son.
Yeah, I am. I came back here when she got sick. I came
Oh,
back here to take care of her. I'm the guy who came back. The rest of them came in recently or just stopping in. I came here and just absolutely take care of her. Been here since.
hmm. How many
Uh,
brothers and sisters you got?
it's six of us all together, three and
Six.
three, like the Brady Bunch.
Oh, how nice.
Yes, and my kids, but she stays downstairs, so she's over here. She helps me every day, all day. If I need her, I just call her. Plus, she's up here to eat all the time, like a kid would be. So I get a lot of help from her. But my niece flew in, my sister flew in, and my other sisters from lives in the suburbs. She's over here. And I had a couple of nephews come over today, and it's just great to see family on a weekend, right? It's like all is right with God or something when that type of shit happens. It's pretty cool.
Oh, that's a lot of love. I'm
It
happy for
is.
you.
It is. It is. I got so high
I had a
last night.
brother. I,
Oh,
I
you
had a
go.
brother and I had a sister, but yeah, they passed
No,
away. My brother
I'm so
passed away
sorry.
first, and my younger sister passed away a year and a half ago. Yeah.
I'm so
Last year.
sorry. Next, I'm
Yeah.
gonna take it easy. Right? Next time I want to jump on you and stuff, I'm gonna remember
Yeah,
I'm
you
gonna
can
get
still
it.
harass me.
I was
It
kidding
wasn't
anyway.
a joke. You didn't harass me. I
I'm
harass you
kidding.
back. We do just fine.
Yeah, don't say it's how I took it easy on
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want it to be anybody but you.
you.
Wingnut gives me enough trouble, so you can go ahead and do it too.
You
What are you
guys had
laughing
some
at,
good
Wing?
conversation. When I
I
was saying
don't
you,
converse. Wing does all the conversating.
he was talking about the
I just
through
interrupt.
the through theme in movies is what he
Yeah.
was saying, and he
Yeah.
had named like good ones, right? He
Yeah.
had named shit with good things and shit. I had thought they live, of course, but you had named some other ones that were good.
Well,
Yeah.
Independent Minnie has a backstage speakeasy every Friday night at 11, and she shows really good movies. And she has a small panel that comes back, and they
Yeah.
talk, and it's just a really good get together.
Yeah. Last night we watched Dark City and Lawnmower Man. Those are the two that we watched.
Oh
Who's in
Yep.
Dark
man,
City?
Dark City is the one where he moves the city around right at night.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
That's
What?
incredible.
Who's in Dark City? Like, name me one of the actors.
Keith or Sullivan.
Yeah,
I
he's the
know I've seen
doctor
him.
in there
Yeah.
who
He's
helps
the
free
doctor.
dude. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
The star too, man, he blew up behind that. He was like, if you see him, you'll recognize him just from that alone. I remember in school the kids talking about that dude.
yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Those are some good ones. I haven't seen. When I hadn't really seen either one of them, and fucking yeah, probably about when they first came out. That's about the last time
right,
I saw them, and so it was kind of nice to see him again. I hadn't seen him in a
right.
long time.
It had to be nice to see Dark City again. And I recently watched Lawnmower Man again too. Recently, it was good. It held up good. It held
Yeah.
because I remember it had shitty graphics. I assumed I
Yep.
wouldn't like it, but it still
Yeah.
held up. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I mean, it got into the virtual reality scenario and
All right.
all this other stuff when it comes down to that. It's like, there's a lot of aspects. Like a lot of these movies and stuff. Um, um, that kind of like we're ahead of their time in a sense on a lot of stuff when it comes down to like AI and
Right.
computers and virtual reality and all this other stuff.
I was
Um,
looking at a clip today of the movie with Scarlett Johansson. I can't think of it right now, where she takes that drug doing it. Her brain just starts growing really fast. And you listen to her talk, she's got a lot of the stuff in there too. She talks about once you use your brain and your emotion drops away and you separate yourself and then you become one with all and then you can escape this place. She used it like you leave this place, but I use it like you escape this place, like meaning you leave your physical behind. It sound, and I was thinking like, damn, she could be talking about what everybody be talking about when you get out of your feelings and emotions and you chase love and logic and you leave the worldly things alone because they no longer matter to you and you totally go into nirvana or whatever.
yeah,
uh, I
I
don't
mean,
know, man. It's a girl. God damn it, I'm
there's a
bad.
couple of there's a couple of different movies that even on Lawnmower Man that kind of I was on that same kind of level. Basically, transferring your consciousness into the web, basically,
Yes.
into the computer and stuff like. There's a few movies that actually on that same premise.
They believe you can do it. They still believe that you can do it. You just need enough energy and computing space and all of that. But they believe it's feasible right now.
Well, that's the thing. Is like the powers that should not be. That's their goal. Is actually to transfer consciousness into a computer or a robot body, for instance, so they can rule forever. You know what I mean? And live forever like immortals. That's their goal. That's why that's why a lot of this stuff is being developed. Is to do that kind of shit.
They don't want my consciousness. I'm all emotions.
Well, I mean,
Play with some logic.
there's a company now where basically you can basically download your face, your features, and your voice, your whole mannerisms, and all that stuff downloaded into a computer. So, like after you die, your
saw that.
relatives can go back and actually have a conversation with you, or your
Oh, I saw
digital
that.
version of you. You know what I
I
mean?
think that's creepy as heck. I would never have done that with my
Yeah,
parents. if it was
there's a
available,
company. There's a company right now that you can do that if you want to do that.
I
And
just want to say that my parents passed. I went through my grieving. Would I ever want to do that if it was possible? No, I wouldn't. I
well,
don't
that's
want to
the thing
grieve
is,
anymore.
yeah, that's the thing. It's like, it's like, for instance, it would be like your parents in a chatbot, basically, chatbot version. You know what I mean? So you can
Don't
have like a
don't forget
conversation and stuff.
don't forget your real parents. They still got people with their bodies, and if you
That's
couldn't
true.
afford the whole body, they got the heads in cryogenic chambers,
Right.
thinking
Yeah.
one day they'll come and be able to bring back, harness the stuff in their brain, and they'll be back to thinking again.
Yeah.
And
I
I
know
thought
about
that
that.
was interesting. They thought that even if you can't afford to have the whole body cryogenically frozen, we can just do the head. And by then, the technology, well, if you needed a body, or we could just upload what you are into the ether,
Yep.
all that bullshit.
Yeah, but that was done a long time ago.
Yes, this is what I'm
more recent.
saying.
Yeah, this
Yes,
is more recent, and
those
it's
heads are still in the
it's just
freezer, is
creepy.
what I'm saying. They
Go
might
check your
just stick
freezer,
them
make
in the
sure the head's still
computer.
frozen.
Yeah,
I
and
think it
update it
would.
with AI.
I think what was it? Walt Disney had his head cryogenically frozen.
Probably right. Probably the
Well, there's a
first
couple
dude.
of famous people. I can't remember
But he
any
probably
of
could
them,
afford the
but I'm
whole
sure Walt
body.
Disney did. Yeah. No, that's just like I said, I grieved over my parents. To do that kind of a thing, you're just grieving the rest of your life. It's not your parents.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
What do you think about the girl who her boyfriend made her mad? So she took his mother's ashes and threw them out in the lake or in the water or something. Got rid of them because she was mad at him. Only reason I asked because it seemed like people still have an attachment to them ashes, or do they? I didn't get my old man.
My uncle's got my dad's ashes at the moment. My uncle's got my dad's ashes, my grandmother's ashes, and his wife's ashes.
Right.
He's holding on to. Eventually, they'll be set out there at the cemetery, but at the moment, he's got them.
Right. Well, yeah, he's probably not. Has some type of strange attachment to them where he felt like they're still there.
Some people some people have their ashes made into a necklace, like you put a heart and have the ashes put into it.
Yeah.
Quite frankly, I don't think I'd do that. If my parents had a wish to have their ashes scattered somewhere, I would have honored that.
What if it wasn't to scatter? Do you think that you're still carrying around a memory if you wear ashes, or do you think it's a positive? What do you think? Yeah, you wouldn't do it. I didn't think you would.
There's a company out there that will there was a company out there that where you can actually have your ashes part of the soil to grow a tree or something like that.
Well, that's kind of like God had intended, so it's not a horrible idea, right? And for that matter, the body itself will give better nutrients. Why burn it up first and all the nutrients and then get an ash, as opposed to if you die and you go back to the soil and then you become part of the plants and system again.
I was going to say there is that aspect. You can do that.
Yeah.
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 That's
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 why
already a thing where you can have your body, whatever they do to it, so it's not going to smell or anything else. You
Yeah.
can dig a hole, they'll put a tree on top of you.
I think they should. They should put it in a pine box or something. None of them metal caskets where it can't merge back into they should let nature reclaim it. You're gone anyway by then, hopefully.
Well, they do. They don't put it in anything because they can't. They put it in like a, I don't know, maybe something that's soluble, whatever.
Yeah.
Right.
No, I don't think I want to do that. I want to be cremated and have my ashes scattered on my friend's farm in the county above me, the horse farm that I always loved.
Okay, you already thought about what you want. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I've thought about when it comes down to me, I don't know if I can actually get it done, unless I work it out in my will somehow. But I personally, I would like to have like a Viking funeral. Put my body out there in a boat in the middle of the water out there and set me on fire and just let me go. That kind of thing.
Oh.
I was sitting there thinking about it. That'd be kind of nice. I have like a New Orleans jazz band fucking carrying my body out to the fucking boat, having like a party the whole way out there. And then, sit me on a boat and just push me out into the water and then fucking set me on fire. That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, a New Orleans band and then a Viking fire, which is like two
Yeah.
total opposites.
Yeah, so what? Because honestly, man, the funeral is not for me. It's for the fucking people who are still
Well,
alive.
have Vikings
know what I
carry
mean?
you, okay? And they can play their big drums and stuff.
I want a party. I want a party.
New
I
Orleans
don't
band,
want.
they can party.
I
They'll have flavors of beer.
personally like it when we celebrate our life instead of celebrating the fucking death.
I
Because
agree.
honestly, what I mean. That's what I see funerals. I don't go to funerals and I don't go to weddings. And I don't like it because I don't know. So
Well, I only
for
have my
me
son now
personally,
to celebrate my life, so, I don't know how much he'd want to celebrate it. I think he'd be brokenhearted, but I would want him to have loving, happy thoughts of my craziness.
yeah. Well, it's kind of hard because most people, they it's hard, because I'll give you an example. I was like one of my nephews, he passed away a few years back. And I'm telling you, my aunt and my uncle, man, especially my aunt, when they come down here and visit, because she's buried right over here in the cemetery. And when they come down, it's like she breaks down every fucking time, which I understand. I get it's like, and she's still grieving. And this is years later. And everybody has their own time limit and their own way of grieving.
They
You know what I
do.
mean?
Maybe she doesn't grieve when she's not here and seeing it. She
I get
doesn't
that's
grieve
probably
much.
it may be, because when she does come down here and it's like the cemetery is right down the road, it's just like it's just a reminder and
It's the reality.
they
Do y'all
hardly
have a do
ever
y'all
come
have a
down here.
I'm sorry. Do y'all have a family cemetery?
Well, there's a lot of my family in the cemetery, but it's
Okay.
not like
Okay.
a dedicated,
Yeah.
just for us.
Well, some people
I've
do.
got let's see here, I've got my grandmother, my aunt, my dad, my granddad, my great granddad, my great granddad and his wives and stuff. It's like it goes back a few generations.
Mm.
And they're all buried out there.
Yeah, my dad's in a military cemetery, and he went first, and then when my mother passed, they just put her coffin on top of his. But he's
Yeah,
in
well,
Bushnell. You know where
that's the
Bushnell
thing
is,
too.
I'm
It's like
sure.
my grandmother, my grandmother and my granddad. My grandmother did not like my granddad. All right, and that was her wish before she died, not to be buried next to my granddad. Well, my
Were they still
my
married?
well, sort of, kind of,
That's a hoot.
but
So
my grandmother didn't really like him, and that's for good reason. But the thing is like that was the thing. She didn't want to be buried next to my granddad, but her children, my uncles and my dad and all them, they didn't really adhere to that, so they buried her right next to my granddad, which is pretty fucked up because my grandmother did not want to be buried next to him.
I just think that's so funny after death. I hate him so much in life. Don't bury me next to him because
Yeah, don't bury me next to that piece of shit.
I'm still
You
gonna
know
hate
what I
him. I
mean?
don't
I
care.
don't I don't want to spend eternity next to that son of a bitch.
That's too
Yeah,
funny.
man. But that's just the way it is. I mean, because they didn't really get along for a long time, and I mean that's because my granddad was a wackadoo anyway.
I know. I
But
just think that after death to carry that on, I don't know. It's just it's just really funny. Your
yeah.
grandmother must have been very feisty.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's she's another Sagittarius. Her birthday is the day after mine. So I mean, she's this like me. Me and her got along really well.
I imagine so. You're not that feisty.
Uh-huh. Okay.
You're not feisty.
All right.
I don't ever find you feisty. I'm feisty. Well, I guess you can be
Yeah,
feisty too.
I
but
think you ain't seen them in certain settings, maybe in certain settings. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
No,
yeah.
I'm remembering back. He's feisty.
Yeah, where he told me all the shit that he went through, all the times we've talked. Matter of fact, when we was up here talking last time, he was talking about how he was with one of his exes and shit. I consider that feisty.
Yeah,
Oh
that's why
yeah.
all his exes moved to Texas to get away from him.
Well, my exes live in Texas. Apparently, I keep going right back there. I just just came back. I'll just go forward. Whatever. Matter of fact, she's in the
Wait a
video
minute, I
today.
missed the conversation. Sorry.
Wait,
She was in a
you're
video
back in
today?
you're back in Chicago, aren't you, Joe?
I'm back in Chicago, but when I
That's
was
what
in
I thought. I was like,
Texas,
you were in the fucking thick of it down there with all that damn
uh,
protest and shit.
I put
Yeah.
up a video from when we were down there. After you probably was back
Yeah.
home. I had went to Texas and Ohio and shit. But in Texas, I got pulled over and I put a little short up today of it. And you saw it. I'm sure you see all my shit. You probably didn't. Did you see the short where I got arrested? I put it up today.
Maybe
Uh,
not. I might
you
not
didn't see
have.
it.
It's been
Good,
short. I don't
good.
know if I have.
So good. So
I've
for you
been
to
I've
see.
been wandering around. I've been
Uh,
there's a lot of stuff, man. I've been trying to watch and stuff like that. When it comes down to it, and keep
keep
um
abreast of shit.
yeah that kind of thing. Because I mean, there's a lot of stuff out there that's going on, and but then I get fucking tired of it, Joe. I'm telling you, man. I just want to find some kind of fucking I don't know, some kind of movie to take my mind off of it or something. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? I
Johnny
get
Maybe
tired
you've
of it.
been
Five-0.
avoiding YouTube.
I'm sorry, but I was talking to Johnny, and he had said he felt the same way. He had so many feeds bringing him negative shit. He said that's why he had stopped caught watching and thought he'd never do it again. But he
Right.
had eventually tried it again. It didn't go well. He had went to New York or Pennsylvania, hung out with Leroy and them, and he was calling me up, trying to get me to come down there.
Yeah, well, yeah, yeah, going through that when he got fucking arrested not too long ago and stuff, going through that fucking shit. Leroy and all that.
Excuse me, I
Oh
want to say
yeah.
something. Excuse me, I missed the feistiness with the exes episode.
Uh,
Uh,
oh,
I
he
must have
was
dropped
saying
off or
about something
something.
about you get to know a person when you're in close quarters with them. He was talking about one ex he had, and they used to live in a mobile home or something together, and they was on top
Joe's
of
gonna
each
tell me your
other,
secrets.
and what you could do when you're not getting along because your options are limited because the house is not huge. That's so
Mhm.
we was talking about
Right.
that.
Yeah, I used to live in a van with her.
Oh, man, there
Oh,
you
I
go.
remember you. Yeah, I remember that you used to live in a van with a woman and y'all traveled.
Yeah, we traveled all over the place. Did a big loop around the nation, around the country,
Mm.
and
Yeah, I'd never be that stupid to live in that small of a quarters with you.
like
I'd
I
be
said,
kicking you out of it and saying
and like Joe
bye-bye.
said, it's like you really get to know somebody when you're living
Yeah,
that
you do.
close of quarters with somebody. You know what I'm saying? And 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and all that kind of shit. And and like living in a van like that, I mean, all kinds of things can go wrong. The van can break down or whatever.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things that can happen.
Even
That
if the
can,
van don't go nothing go wrong with the van just being on top of each other like that,
yeah,
shit can go wrong inside the fucking van, whether it be not
Yeah.
mechanical. I don't know, the bed is giving y'all problems or it's crooked, whatever the table's crooked or the water's not working, whatever it is to add to stress that's
Yep.
inside the motherfucker too.
Yeah.
The best thing you can do is have a lot in common.
Yeah.
Just
That
Yeah.
helps. If you
Yeah.
have a lot in common, that I'm telling you, that really helps. And if you have a strong friendship foundation, that'll get you through anything.
both. I agree. I think even bigger than that, if you're really forgiving and have no desire to control a person, that's now
Yeah.
you're just naturally peaceful motherfucking, and people won't get under your skin. That type of person would help a lot too, because
And compromising.
that was forgiving. That's what I say,
Yeah,
forgiving. So
yeah. Well, not forgiving. I'm just saying for compromising is also very big. Nobody
I'm
has to
using
be
them
right
as an
all.
analogy. I'm using
Okay,
them as
well,
an analogy. Forgiving meaning a person, you just anything they do you're okay with. I meant forgiving in that sense, not someone has
no,
harmed you.
you can't be okay with what somebody does all the time.
Well, not if
That's
it
being a
harms you.
doormat. That's being a
Not
doormat.
if it harms you. I was talking about if someone likes to say they got some habit of wearing something stupid or role playing or video games, whatever it is, and they maybe they're loud at night or he's up all night and talks too much or something. Motherfucker, you ain't got nowhere to be tomorrow. Relax, leave the man alone or the woman alone and let them do their shit.
Well,
Whatever
I'm just gonna
weird
beat the
habit
hell
they
out of him if
have.
he's doing all that. Screw it. I'm kidding. This is where compromise comes in. That's what I'm trying to say. You each have your own ways and you compromise in the middle on them.
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I mean, I don't know. My past relationships weren't built on a lot of that stuff. I mean, um,
Well, of
I
course, if your
know.
future ones are,
I mean, I'll tell you that, like for instance, I mean, there's probably only one, maybe only one of them that we were friends for a while before we started dating and whatever.
Yeah.
But other than that, it was built it was built on stupid shit like sex or something like that. That really kind
that
of
see,
you know.
you don't build a relationship on lust at first sight.
Well,
It
I agree,
happens. It
but
sure
that's not
happens.
how most relationships start.
Every
I mean,
That
Chris,
is
there's
very true.
I looked for skanky women when I was young. I just liked a certain body style and that nasty walk or whatever it was. It was all
Oh,
sexual.
Joe, you make me feel
I
so
like
warm.
those skanky bow-legged chicks, and because you told,
God, you make me
and
feel
they
prostitute.
all got shitty attitudes. They are good in
yeah,
bed,
yeah,
and they love to fuck, and they all
yeah,
got shitty entitled
Joe,
attitudes.
yeah.
TMI, TMI, TMI.
Yeah. Wait, you're asking for details from
No, I didn't.
Anarchy.
I
She's
didn't
like,
ask you
hey,
for
Joe, we
details.
don't want to hear your sort of
I didn't
details.
ask you for details.
Anarchy,
I
tell me
asked
more
Wayne
about
because I knew
your
he'd be more
relationships.
gentle.
Well,
Oh my God. You just come right out with this is what I like, this is what I like, this is what I don't like.
I'll tell
No.
you, like for instance, I mean, there was this one girl I used to date. She was a stripper at a bar, and I met her. I used to work at a bar as a bouncer, and I was working the front door checking IDs and stuff. And her and a bunch of other girls, when they got off work, they would come over to the bar where I worked at, and they would go drink and stuff. All right. Well, I didn't know they worked at the club down the way. I didn't know that at the time, but
Mm-hmm.
and it started with basically sex. That was basically how I got it started. You know what I mean? And but she was definitely um not quite right in the head, and but you know
Neither are you. You should have gotten along great.
well, I mean, we
You,
had great sex, and we stuck around. I stuck it
Okay,
out for.
okay.
We had great
you,
sex, and it was like I stuck it out for like 2 years, but that was the only thing that kept us going. You know what I mean?
you had
Yeah.
too many expectations of her. You expected her not to fuck other men, and
Oh my
she.
Well,
God, this is so not a ladies'
well,
man.
okay, well, in some ways, all right, I have certain rules, all right. Like for instance, when it comes down to her, for instance, all right, I don't give a shit what you do at the club to make your money because that's the way you make your money and you pay your bills and all that sort of shit. I don't give a shit. But when you're not at the club and you're not working and you're out with me at a bar or something like that, watching a band or something like that, I expect you to be with me, not flirting with every fucking guy in the goddamn bar trying to get free drinks out of them. You know what I'm saying?
100%. I'd lose my freaking mind.
I did,
Okay.
and I do.
mean,
And I,
Your
you know,
first issue was that once you became you got into a relationship with her, she should have stopped stripping.
well, no. I mean, I didn't give a shit. I didn't give a shit that she worked there.
Well, you
I didn't
should.
care. No,
I'm
I
just
didn't care because that was how she made her money, and you know that's just a job to me. You know what I mean? I didn't care. But
I
when
think-
she's got when
Don't
she's
know
not at
about
work,
men.
but when she's not at work, you don't play the same fucking games that you do at work to get a goddamn, you know, to get money out of dudes while we're out on our, you know, together.
You're making her point. I think you're proving Snooks right. She said when she got there, the girl should have stopped. Now you can take that to mean that if you took the type of girl who worked at a nightclub and that's what she does just as a living, and when she move in with you, she still carries that shit on, then you picked the wrong chick and you shouldn't even been fucking with that girl.
I agree, because quite honestly, man, I should have lost her phone number within the first week, you know,
Right.
but I didn't. You know what I mean?
Right. Oh yeah, I've been there. Hugging that too long. I've been there.
I'm just gonna say this, sex is good, that's fine. Eventually down the line is to become less and less and less. And if you don't have good conversation and friendship and things in common, you ain't got nothing.
Well, I agree, because I mean, you know, sex doesn't solve problems. And then, and you know, and some place in some aspects, you know, like for instance, the girl I dated, you know, she considered that a way of solving a problem. You know what I mean? And I just knew that you know that didn't solve our problems.
I've had
That's
more
what
than a few of those. Yeah, where they think that if they do wrong, if they lay it on you properly,
Yeah.
everything's supposed to be forgiven and
Right.
you know under the water.
Yeah, it
That's
don't
called female
don't
that's called
happen.
female manipulation.
Yeah.
I thought we
Yeah.
made up.
When you're younger, you don't think about those things.
Exactly. That's what it is. You got to choose the right person with these qualities that we're talking about and throw in a sense of humor in there, because when the sex fades, that helps. You cracking jokes early into the morning, late into the night, early in the morning.
Yeah, there's just a lot of other things that factor in, but you live and learn. It's not something that's all of a sudden when you're young, you're going to think, oh, I want this, and that. No, you're going to go out and you're going to say,
Nah, you're
that
right.
guy
That only
bought that
comes
girl's
with
house,
time.
I want this.
Yeah.
So it does
Well,
come
that's the
with
thing, you know, and that's the reason why I was saying is like, you know, in some ways, you know, it's a good thing if you're basically friends to begin with, and you can, you know, you figured out each other's quirks and all that stuff, and you can go that a step further, you know, and get into that, you know what I mean, into that relationship part of it, and then sex gets involved and all that stuff. You can, if that doesn't ruin it, you know, your friendship and that stuff, if it doesn't, you know what I mean, because sometimes it can, you know, you can be really good friends with somebody and
then they get
and
possessive as soon as you fuck it. I'm sorry, she don't like that word. As soon as you have sex, then and one of the people will get possessive as fuck. Where you been? Hey, you ain't been doing that shit. When I go to the fucking Walmart, I'm just saying. You said you'd be back by 6. You've been gone 30 minutes to store, only 10 minutes away because you've had sex. Now it changes the dynamic.
Well,
Right.
yeah, but if you build a foundation of friendship, then you have a foundation of trust too.
yeah, well,
And trust is huge.
you know, like I said, I mean, there was only a couple of girls in my past that were, maybe one or two in my past that were, you know, that were kind of started on that, you know, and you know, like for instance, that one I stayed in the van with. I mean, I was with her probably, I don't know, probably like three or so years or something like that. But the thing is like we started kind of, you know, hanging out with each other for a while and stuff like that, and eventually, you know, she was like, she pulls me out and says, "So you want to go out and go fuck or something like that?" And I was like, "Okay." And that was the end of it. And it's like we were dating then. And,
Right, of course.
Yeah, that's not a pickup line I've ever used on a man.
It would
Oh,
work.
hell.
Trust me.
It would
No,
work.
I
It would work. You know, it would definitely work.
Okay, yeah.
Put it this way,
then
I've actually, you know, there are some girls out there. I've used the line. It's like, hey, you want to go get some pizza and fuck? Some girls would
Right.
be into that. You know what I
I
mean?
say yes to the pizza, no to the other. I don't know you that well.
It's like, what, you don't like pizza? Yeah,
I
but you know,
know, JD.
but you know, and it's like, but that's the thing too. Is like, you know, I'm also, you know, well, I mean, the older I get, I'm attracted to different qualities. The older I get, but you know,
Same.
when I was younger, I was attracted to certain qualities. You know, I was, you know,
Yeah,
it
I
was,
know. Boobs
Hips
and
and
butt.
thighs was my thing.
yeah,
Yeah, hips and
Boobs and
yeah.
thighs.
butt. Now
Still
you've
like
gotten
a good
older
pair
and
of
you value
thighs.
more in a woman than, you know, just the superficial.
Yeah, that
Well,
the friendship shit is a ton, and the sense of humor shit, and the letting shit go. I forgot how you just phrased it, but being easygoing. Here, that's a better way to put it. If you can find a mate
Hmm.
who's easygoing, I was looking at a clip of a guy talking about how him and his, I think it was his wife he was talking to, and he was trying to explain how they don't communicate well. And to give an example, he gave an example where it looks like to me he was easygoing. He says that if you come in and you see the pipe is broken, if you're a dude, me, I call a plumber, we get it fixed. A woman, you look at this mess. I'm not cleaning it up. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I hope you're gonna pay for it. The first 6 things out of her mouth has nothing to do with a solution. And as if to prove his point on cue, she started saying, picking at him as opposed to hearing what he is saying. No, because I call a plumber too. He's like, that's not it. It's an analogy. No, because it depends if, and she didn't even get to you want to talk about shit that ain't it. So anyway, I'm doing the short was much better than my description of it.
Yeah, I have no idea what you just said, but that's okay. I rarely do. But sometimes I do understand you, and you're right on point. I will say
I'm
that
always on point, even when you don't understand me.
say something. Now you made me forget. Dang it. Oh,
It was worth
resolution. Don't
Always
go
on
to
point. Don't
bed.
you fucking
Yeah,
forget it.
it.
don't go don't go to bed angry. I like to resolve issues, but I have found that men like to think about it for a while and then resolve it. Whereas I want to resolve it right away. If I've screwed up or we've screwed up, let's talk about it and make it better right away.
Wait, there is no woman, I had to marry you the first day because there's no woman who thinks that does that. First thing they got to do
I
is
do.
blame, then they got to vent, then they got to hold a grudge.
Yep.
So the guy
Yep.
within 15 minutes, an hour at most, y'all could be out of it. But the chick, you wake up and we're like, I got to check her temperature. Let's see if she's still mad from yesterday. Yep, sure is. I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When you've been over that shit.
2 years later, she's bringing that same shit back
Bringing
up.
that shit up.
No, you know what? I have found that I have no problem owning what I do, saying that I'm sorry, and try to resolve it and find out how we can do better.
Unicorn shit.
That's not unicorn crap. That's me. I like to fix things right away because I don't want to feel like the man I love is still pissed off at me. I want to say, okay, let's just deal with this now, get it over with, and then we're okay.
I was just saying it's rare. I'm not saying you don't possess that
I'm very
quality.
rare.
It's
I'm
rare.
a
That's
rare
what I
lady.
mean by unicorn. It's rare. That's all I mean.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know
Yeah.
that. I thought
Yeah.
that was something gay.
It is a rare scenario on that aspect because I mean, you know, a lot of women are, and that's another thing too that kind of really turns me off about a lot of these girls nowadays, you know, especially when ones younger than me anyway. They're, you know, they definitely don't look at things in that direction. I mean,
Right.
there's a few out there. There are a few out there, I have to admit, you know, but they're already snatched up and married by now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I was gonna say the older I get, the less attractive anything young even is anymore. All I think is airhead, ditch, no
Right,
conversation.
right,
Yeah.
right.
But this is where living and learning has come in for me. You know, I don't hold grudges anymore because all it does is hurt me. The other person I'm holding the grudge is out there having fun. They don't care. They don't even know about it. So I'm not going to hold a grudge.
Yeah.
That's the truth of it, right?
So,
You're
but a
only
lot of it is just
penalizing yourself.
separate bedrooms. Separate bedrooms doesn't help. I once suggested separate bedrooms to my ex, and he said separate bedrooms, separate houses.
Ugh.
Right.
Yeah, I told that to my chick.
So, listen, I'm going to have to drop off.
All
I
right.
got some things I need to do and
Go
came
cook
over
your
here.
I
man go cook your man his dinner. You know what time it
My
is,
man
girl.
doesn't live
make
with me.
make a damn sandwich.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you make your own sandwiches. You tell me where you're eating them too, and twirl. Anyway, I don't have a man living with me.
That's not what you just said. You said your man doesn't live with you,
No,
meaning
he
he
doesn't.
won. He said separate beds, separate houses,
No,
and he won.
my ex-husband said that.
Yeah. So does that mean you still screwing around with him? Yeah. You,
No, my ex-husband, we've been divorced 4 years. He's married.
oh, okay. I was totally wrong then.
No, no, no. I wasn't referring to him at all. I don't love him. We stopped loving each other, and that's why we got
And you
divorced.
don't have a, oh God, excuse me, Lord. Maybe you're talking about Wing, not over here. And before you go, I just wanted you to notice I am right. You're sweet on that dude because every time I said the F word, you jumped on me. He quietly said it half a dozen times and you didn't even notice.
That's because he says it so much I don't notice anymore.
Yeah.
Or I
It's
just don't listen to him.
like
I can
rewind
say
that
that.
shit. You just sped right past that shit.
Right? He was like,
So I
I'm
don't listen.
telling
I don't really. I listen to Wingnut half the time he's talking because that's all I can take.
he was like, you want to fucking get pizza and
Yeah.
so and you don't like me. Remember, he was saying all that shit. He didn't even notice. You like, yeah, I hear you.
I
Yeah,
told him, I
what
said I
happened?
like pizza, but no to the other. Okay.
So I'm saying, I was like, yeah, fuck that bitch. Oh my God, Joe, I can't believe you used that word over here. Oh my God, that's crazy.
You say it with a lot of. You say it with a lot of
So,
emphasis, Joe.
because I'm thinking about fucking. Yeah,
Exactly. Don't say that anymore.
I'm joking.
Joe, I still love you though.
I
Okay.
love you, and that's funny as fuck.
You're the
Doing how you look
coolest.
at it.
All
Thank you.
right. Good night,
Easy,
Joe.
man.
Good night, Wing. I'm so glad you're on
All
tonight and
right.
that you're not dead.
Have a good night there, Snook.
Okay, you too. Come and say hello
All
to
right,
Peanuts,
babe.
okay? If you get a chance.
Yeah,
Wing. Yeah,
I
yeah,
hear you.
right. Okay, yeah, sure I will.
Yeah,
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, yeah. Okay, whatever. All right. Good night, y'all. Love you. Good
Later,
night, Dad.
later, bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, look cute, little giggle there at the end. Is she hot at all? You've seen her?
No, I haven't. No, I haven't. But
I
she's
can't
definitely
hear
a
you.
flirt. She's
I can't
definitely
hear
a
you if you're
flirt.
talking. It could be my shit.
Yeah.
All right, stick a thumb up or something. My shit's bouncing though. I just can't hear you.
Huh? Say what now?
Can you hear me? Shake your
Yeah,
ball if you can hear me.
yeah, I can hear you.
God damn it. All right, I gotta I'm gonna leave and come back because I can't hear you. Maybe it's my phone.
Okay. 10-4. Yeah. Yeah. And good to see everybody else in there. Moonchild, good to see you. Was it? I definitely take separate houses. Come for a good time, not a long time. Yeah. Maybe separate bedrooms help. I don't know, man. Dude, if it got down to the point where we had to have separate bedrooms, man, that I can't do that. Let me bring you up in there.
Yeah, it was definitely my phone. You can kill that top joker.
Okay, hold on.
I can hear you now.
Let me get rid of that one. That was the right one?
That was the right one. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm still here.
So yeah, I mean, I didn't know what I just didn't know what anybody else. The main reason why I threw the live up because I didn't really have anything to talk about all that much. But I was like, well, find out what you guys want to talk about. You know what I mean?
Let's see if Guru doing that. I mean, you got time? Or
Yeah.
are you gonna end it? All right, let me call. See what Guru on.
Yeah, I got about 60% on my battery life, and then I have to move inside and put it on a charge. But other than that, I'm good. I'll sit out here by the fire as long as I can.
I hear what you're saying. Yeah. See if he texts back because if it's just me, you, and him, that's always great.
Yeah, and but we were. you know, because I was just saying, it's like, you know, I was telling Smokes earlier, it's like, you know, in this politics and religion scenario, and sometimes, you know, I get burnt out on it sometimes because it feels like I'm a broken record on a lot of stuff, and a lot of this shit, man, that's going on and stuff like that. Just, you know, it
It
gets,
scares me, man, to make me think that you have to be able to observe this shit without getting invested in it. You have to be able to do the observer effect, right? Like
right,
the Eastern philosophy, become an observer, because
right,
and don't get so emotionally, and so then you can
yeah,
stay in a battle longer if you don't get emotionally invested like that.
right, yeah. I mean, I was
Like,
like, I was sitting there talking to somebody about it last night, actually. You know, when it comes down to it, it's like, you know, it's like, okay, I kind of explained it like this. It's like, it's like mainstream media. All right, mainstream media. If you watch it, you're uninformed. Or, I mean, no, if you watch it, you're misinformed. If you don't watch it, you're uninformed.
right.
You get what I'm saying?
I agree with what you said.
You know, so I mean, it's kind of like that. And it's like, you know, it's like I got to pay attention to this shit. Otherwise, I won't know what they're trying to play out, what they're trying to do to me, and I won't know
Right.
how to prepare for it. If I but if I do pay attention to it and all that stuff, man, you know, they're just going to tell me a bunch of fucking psyop crap. You know
Here,
what I
this
mean?
is the biggest advantage that to delving into that shit that pops in my head right now is that most of the people we talk to are not too smart, and they fall for really dumb arguments. You know, if they broke a law, it's the law. They got to go back. Whatever. If they broke a law, it's the law. Shit. No one really believes in that, but you hold on to it for whatever reason. It would be a logic flaw.
Yeah.
People have a million of these. So when you watch those people, you hear those words that they train people with. Well, he was obstructing.
Yeah.
You didn't see an obstruction, you know, but you were trained that way. So when you see all of those what they call them, dog whistles and shit, you
Yeah.
learn to when a person comes to you and with all that emotion, they say something stupid and you point it out, you slow them down, and you hold back the tide of idiocy and hatred and division and shit when you can speak that language and parry and duck and dodge that shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know, but even then on obstruction, you know, it's like they, you know, the legal definitions of a obstruction, most of the cops don't know the legal definition of it. They just I think that obstruction is basically this blanket
But
fucking
wait.
thing, and then it can mean anything.
You
You know?
understand? I was not thinking about cops, though. I was thinking about the citizen puppetry that you have to see every day. They
Right,
believe it's obstruction because they've heard that word. When
right,
to their eye, they see no one's obstructing, but you know, they'll tell you, oh, well, if you weren't out there agitating, you know, these words that they heard, a
right,
motherfucker
right,
walking there with a camera and say, if you
right.
weren't agitating, and you know, it pays
Well,
because
that's
those
almost
are
like
the
that.
people you're gonna run into. You're not gonna run into a senator, but you're gonna run into a million knuckleheads like that.
Well, it's almost like that victim blaming in a sense. You know, it's like, you
Uh,
know, it's like it's on the same level. It's like, well, that girl was wearing a fucking short skirt. She deserved whatever she got. You know
100%.
what I mean? It's on that
Yes,
same level. You know, it's like, well, you were out there with the camera, so it's all your fucking fault.
it goes there.
You forced them to do it. You know what I mean?
It
You
goes
know,
there immediately too. Whoever you're talking to, uh, immediately what you're doing. You know, I don't want to talk to you. Whatever the standard line is, I'm working on a story, I'm investigating, I can't give you any details. Immediately it goes to trying to shame you and blame
yeah,
you with the,
yeah,
oh, you
yeah.
just out
Oh,
here
you're trying to
agitating,
start
you're
something.
trying to
Yeah, you're
cause
trying to.
trouble.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
you're just
Yeah.
trying to get money on YouTube. Immediately goes to shame you.
Dude, there's this one guy. His channel is, what is it? Human wildlife. Uh, something like that. It's human wildlife, something, whatever. But he does
Uh,
nothing but silent fucking shit. He'll just go out and put his camera and fucking go out there and not say a freaking word the whole goddamn time. But
right.
people will just go fucking freaking out because he doesn't talk. And they'll start making up whatever they'll like, oh, you're just trying to start some shit. Oh, you're
That's
just
funny.
fucking out here because you're like, you know, you're trying to do this and that, or whatever, you know what I mean? And, you know, he
Right.
doesn't say a single word the whole damn time. Human Wildlife Project. That's what it's called. But anyway, that's all he
Human
does.
wildlife. That's
Yeah, Human Wildlife Project. That's all he does. He does nothing but silent fucking shit. And it's so fucking crazy how people will just fucking just go ape shit because they don't know why he's there. They don't know why or what his whole intention is. So they'll just make up like the worst case scenario why he's there and all this other shit. You know, oh, you're just trying to start some crap. You're just trying to start problems and blah 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 blah. You know, and he hasn't said a word. You know, and that's the thing too. It's like their mind, their imagination starts running wild, and they go to the worst case scenario in their imagination of what's going on, you know, because they don't understand what he's doing. So therefore, it must be, you know, nefarious because, you know, it's like, I don't understand what you're doing. So you're not telling me what you're doing.
I
So I'm
don't
just
know.
going to look it up.
They do go there, but I'm not so sure that they're actually going there in their head. Their thoughts are punitive. Their thoughts are to hurt you because you mistreated them because you owed them a thing, an explanation, niceties, and because they
Right.
didn't get you mistreated them, and they're going to mistreat you. So immediately, I don't think it's just that they really think these fanciful ideas. You could be checking out the place to rob the bank. They don't really
Right.
think that it's punitive, and they want to hurt you.
Right.
It's
Right.
setting it up. Are you okay?
It's like
You're
when
not.
Kansas City when Kansas City do a little audits or whatever you want to call them. It's like sitting out in front of a bank, you know,
Right.
just standing out there on the sidewalk, just you know, pointing his camera toward a bank. All these
Right.
motherfuckers are sitting there thinking, "Well, what you doing? You're out there casing the place. You're out here fucking, you know, trying to figure out our security so you can rob us and blah blah blah."
Right. Right.
You
Now
know, their imagination goes wild. You know what I mean?
I think it's great that you'll see the same person that you're talking about there that accused them of some shit. uh, Sometimes, if not in his videos, others, you'll hear them talk about he's just for YouTube. He's one of those auditors. They'll
Right.
have known the entire time where they was like, he's a pedo filming my kids come in the bank with the, you know,
Right.
whatever, you know, they going
Right.
that way, and they knew what he was there for the whole time. That's just evil.
Yeah. It's just amazing, you know, because I was sitting there, I was like, every time I see something like that, I'll throw a comment in the damn comment section or something like that. I'm like, you know, I really don't understand why people don't get this upset or riled up about government spying on us, surveilling us, and
Right.
tracking us all the time. You know
Right.
what I mean? And
Because
and using these flock cameras and ring cameras to spy on us and track us and
it's
surveil us.
more it's more
But you
proof
know,
of that I'm right, that it is a power thing, because they understand that the more powerful person gets certain privileges, so they expect the government to be able to do that shit. By the same token, they feel like they have power over you, the same way you can't film, but it's okay for them to pull out your camera. They're following
yeah.
that power dynamic, and they think you are beneath them. Get a job. You are beneath me. That's the only way
Yeah.
that can come out of their mouth, if they believe, unless they
It's
believe
so
you are
damn funny
beneath
too
me.
because they'll just sit there. You can't film us, and then they'll bring out their damn camera and start filming
Yeah,
them. I'm like,
yeah.
what the fuck? You say, what you know? What you can do it, but I can't. You know that kind of
Because
shit.
you filming me. Where's your
Yeah,
logic? What the
yeah,
fuck does that mean? Is that one of the
yeah.
rules I haven't heard about? Can I film you then because your bank is filming me? No, you're a human. If a human films you first, then you can film them. Is this what's in your rabbit ass skull?
Right. Well, that's the thing too. It's like, you know, it's almost like that cognitive dissonance. You know, almost like, you know,
Yes,
that holding two different opposite views or opposite beliefs or
yes,
opposite fucking truths in their mind at the same time. You know what
yes.
I mean?
That law shit. That's my favorite. Where everybody do the migrant shit, and said that, yeah, well, if you broke a law, you know, that's that. Everybody got to be held to the standard. That's my favorite because it's so easy to prove that not everybody believes that shit. One, you can say like, federally, weed is illegal, but some states do it legally. If you believe in law, then everybody that smokes weed in Colorado is a criminal and should be in jail. Do you know anyone in Colorado? Do you think they should go weed? New York, where it's legal now, all of these people are criminals and they should go to jail? Or is it
Right.
just that particular law and those particular people?
Yeah.
Yeah, that you can't really, they're holding two positions, but they go against each other. They contradict. That's why when you
Yeah.
bring it to their attention and shit, they get mad and break and blame you because it breaks their cognitive dissonance, like you just said.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, like for instance, I'll give you like for instance that like your last video, whatever. You just standing there. You weren't even pointing your camera in the direction of the
right.
fucking cops, and you got fucking pegged with those fucking pepper balls. All right, is
Yes.
it your fault that you got pegged by fucking pepper balls? You know, I mean, that's the
Same,
thing. It's like just because you were standing there, you know, it's right for them to do that. You know what I mean? I don't.
same shit. I didn't say a fucking word while I was out there. I certainly wasn't a protester. But
Yeah,
in the comment section, y'all Democrats believe, I'm getting shit, in their head, I was making a
yeah, I know.
commentary. Yeah.
Yeah, some people will actually think that that the cops were right for fucking sitting there pegging you with pepper balls just because you were
Yes.
standing there. You know
Yes.
what I mean?
Yes.
Um,
Yeah. The guy was in the video. I pushed him into a corner to show his cognitive dissonance, and he was like, well, they're non-lethal. Like, okay, what they got to do with anything? I'm not sure that you get to use a chemical agent on a motherfucker just because he don't die. It makes it okay. This is the standard
right.
we're going for. He didn't die. This is the new standard. Fuck. Like if a motherfucker don't move, you walk up to him, put cuffs on him, and walk him to the police car. That's been the norm, forever. No one can says, just gets to shoot a nigga. I don't like him on that curb, but his foot's on my property. You just get to start gassing him. That's not a thing. You go to jail for shit like that.
Yeah, I was sitting there actually. I was having a conversation with some people the other day, and I think I can't remember. It was one of them was actually a cop or something like that, and we were talking about if a cop willingly, knowingly, and with malice, fucking basically violates people's civil rights and stuff like that, we have the lawful right to basically shoot them. You know, because that's basically tyranny, and that's the whole purpose of the fucking Second Amendment, so we can defend ourselves from tyranny. All right. And if we have
Right.
if like for instance, you had a bunch of fucking tyrannical fucking cops knowingly and willingly willing to go against the Constitution and come into my fucking home, you know, I have the lawful right to shoot them.
It
But in
seems
in the society sense, the way we've been programmed, no, you can't do
right.
that. And it'll be okay for all those fucking corrupt fucking tyrannical cops to fucking unload their magazines on me. You know
Right.
what I mean?
When it's the exact opposite, because the way you have the system set up, if cops go rogue, I can't call a cop or anybody to come get these
Right.
niggas at that moment.
Exactly.
It'd be suicide. So it's only
Exactly.
logical that I be allowed to defend myself. It's a total gaslight.
Right. And exactly. I mean, so who do you call when the actual criminal's wearing a badge? You
Right.
know what I mean? Who do you fucking call? No,
They
but I mean,
don't leave
technically,
a mechanism for you. You're supposed to, they don't leave one. And like you say, if you shoot him and defend yourself and do for yourself, they're
right.
gonna all come kill you and shit.
Oh fuck yeah, dude! Like for instance, if I was like in my house and all I saw was a fucking boot and some fucking fuzzy face in my in my view, I didn't know who it was. I didn't know it was a cop, and I fucking shot at him. Next thing you know, all his fucking buddies are gonna unload every bit of fucking what they got on me. You know what I mean?
What
And
even
who would
if
be
you
in the
do
lawful
know it's
right?
a cop? What if it
Huh?
is a cop, and your wife is, in the house, she doesn't have any clothes on or inappropriately dressed because y'all not expecting company, or your teenage daughter, and they're telling you we don't have a warrant, but we're looking for a guy, and we're just gonna push our way in. It only take a second, and you try not to let him in your house. Same shit. Close that
Yeah.
door on his foot. Push him out
Right.
that door.
Right.
Suddenly you're
Right.
shot, beat
Yep.
up, and all of
Yep.
that shit.
Yeah. Well, if you ain't that, you're gonna have a whole shitload of fucking felony charges on your ass.
Cases after it's over, man, you just cannot touch them. I don't care if they were banging your wife. You can't touch them. Are you crazy? You
But
wait
that's
till
the
it's
thing.
done.
But that's the thing. It's like when it comes down to the lawful, end of it, on the constitutional part of it. That's the whole reason why the Second Amendment is pinned on paper. So we can defend ourselves from that tyrannical government. And if the cops are the fucking tyrannical government, we have the lawful right to shoot back.
Hey,
You know?
oh, this is interesting. Oh my God, I just thought of something. This is great. I think it was Behold the Pale Horse. Somewhere a long time ago. I don't even think it was that. I don't know where it was at. But they said that you would know, it was some FBI shit, and it was part of the plan how to identify. Now I remember. It was part of that shit when they actually come for you shit. So it could have been Pale Horse or something. But one of the things that they had already put in there that to identify your enemy was the people who support the Constitution.
Right.
And I remember thinking, that makes no sense. You know, what the fuck? How you gonna sell that the Constitution guy is the bad guy? All these
Right.
years later, now, yes, if you're a constitutionalist, you're a soft set. If you support
or a domestic terrorist.
or a domestic terrorist, an anarchist, if you believe you just don't understand. Yeah, they're making it. If you support the Constitution, you're bad. It was a thing. I was like, it makes no sense.
I was sitting there talking earlier about like just the difference between driving and traveling and stuff like that, you know, and or becoming a state national versus the federal citizen, you know what I mean, and the differences between that stuff and how the federal fucking they don't want us to be basically free people. You know, I mean, they want us to be subjects to the federal government and all this other shit. And that's how it's been played out for 200 and more, 230, 40 years or something like that. You know, it's like, you know, we're just basically subjects of the fucking federal government ever since the fucking, you know, the union of the fucking states and all that shit. And versus driver versus traveler type of scenario. You know, there's a lot of people out there that, you know, that have succeeded in this when it comes down to it, and standing up and with the right, and they've actually, you know, and it's actually gone the way it's supposed to. But then there's a lot of times where, you know, the cops don't know it, the judges don't give a shit, the prosecutors don't care, because I mean it's all basically a conflict of interest because they all get paid by the same way, you know, through the theft of our fucking wealth. And so they don't really care. They're all working for the same scenario against us.
It's
you know
obviously
what I mean?
a conflict of interest. How are you? The rules that they have set up is that you give up all of your rights of defending yourself and all of that shit, and you come to us to defend you and to settle your disputes and all of that shit. How is that possible when even my lawyers and the shit, the judge, the prosecutor, all are on that side of the table? How's the fuck is that even fair? Me coming over there to begin with, the whole thing is lopsided. It's a trick bag even before you hop into it.
What's up, Pro Se? I was just gonna say, I saw Shady in there. I saw a few other people. Moonchild was like, okay, she's like, okay, there's good cops and bad cops, just like anything else. But the only problem is that cops, they can hold your life and your freedom in their hands. All right. Yeah. So, you know, it's not like any other type of jobs. You know what I mean? Right. That's the thing about, you know, the difference between having, yeah, there are some bad people in fucking in Hardee's and fucking in McDonald's. Yeah, but still what? They're not holding your life and your freedom in their hands.
Right.
And
they don't come with an implied sense of authority, which makes
qualified immunity and all this other shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes it more objectionable.
And a gang of fucking the whole state backing them up. You know what I'm saying? You know, and they, you know, it drives me nuts, man. You know, because you know, and I've got family that are cops, and I got family that are military, and all this other shit, and it just drives me nuts because I mean, you know, I try to hold them to that standard. I'm like, listen, you know, I never took the oath. You know, I never took this oath that you guys took, and I actually hold you to that oath. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? and you should, and it should not just be like a formality to get the job, which ended
Which
up
is
being,
exactly what it is nowadays,
yeah,
right?
well, nowadays, yeah,
It's just a formality. They don't even remember what they said. Even I don't know how much the
exactly.
military is because they still swear they have like some type of weird code in the military. So I don't know. They probably still know their oath. But the police certainly they have no idea what they're even swearing to. They just going there to get the paycheck and
Yeah.
either be a savior or you keep the monkeys in line, the dummies in line because they're not smart enough. They'll walk up to an adult and be like, "Hey, listen, man, it's not safe to step off of that curb over there." As if this motherfucker ain't 50 years old who you're talking to or something stupid. Listen, man, just don't go back over there and don't do this and that. Like they're so authoritative about shit like what a grass line is. Shut the fuck up, man. Stop it.
Well, I mean, I see that all the time too. Like, for instance, like they don't even know what a fucking easement is, or a goddamn, public property versus private property, or that kind of shit. Because I mean, oh my god, it
Shows
drives
their
me nuts.
shows their inherent ego and shit. They've never been there. They got no idea if that's bank property, public easement, or sidewalk, and they speak with all the confidence in the world. Oh, well, that belongs to the bank there. Like you were in the planning room when they fucking made the sidewalk and the bank property. Yeah, motherfucker. Oh, well, that's the bank's property over there. Well, that's their grass. They confident officer. There must be a public easement. I can't, I'd walk in the street otherwise. Well, no, you can walk on the other side of the street. There's no
Well,
sidewalk over there either, motherfucker. Yeah, but this is their property. Someone owns the property across the street too, but they're not complaining on you. It's just weird shit.
yeah, well, and that's the thing too. Is like it seems like, well, especially nowadays, cops don't operate on facts and evidence. They work under like presumptions, assumptions, and hearsay. You know what I mean? And that's where it ends up. It's like they don't do investigations. That's supposed to be the first fucking thing they do is when they have to investigate. All right, they don't just take the
According
word
to the
like, for instance,
Constitution, they can't even stop your movement until they have proof that you did a thing. So
right,
there is
but
no in the
that's
Constitution. There is no. I'm gonna hold you for a week while I figure out what you did, shit, or I'm gonna stop you for a while I go investigate. If you're gonna interfere with a citizen, you got to have it. There is no RAS, reasonable suspicion. You must have
right,
probable cause.
right. But that's another thing too. They don't really read the letter of the law. They get the cliff notes, or they get trained on the cliff notes. So they don't really read the whole thing. They just assume the definitions or the elements that it requires to get certain things. Like, for instance, there's no such thing as an investigative detention. You have to
Right.
investigate and find out the articulable facts
Right.
before you can detain. But no, they're like,
Facts.
no, we're going to detain you and then try and figure it out.
Yes. And
You know what I mean?
then there is no detention or investigation period without a crime. There is no I'm
Right,
just detaining you till I find shit out.
right.
I'm investigating. No, you have to be investigating a crime. Yeah, you say they only get the cliff notes, but that's what they want them to have. That provides them flexibility, plausible deniability, immunity, qualified immunity, because they didn't know. You know what? No, it hasn't been firmly established here yet. So they want them to only have the cliff notes and shit. Then they don't have to be responsible.
No, exactly. Because then, because when they get up on the stand or something like that, that's why most judges consider cops incompetent. They don't know the law. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And how, if you don't know the law and you don't know the rights that they're supposed to be protecting and ensuring, how can you fucking do your fucking job? You're incompetent. You're not competent type of a person to sit there and actually delegate all this stuff. They're making a legal determination right there on the fucking street. You know what I mean? But they don't know the fucking legalities, the elements that require certain things.
You're making me think that how we were saying that it's unfair because everybody's on that side, even your lawyer. Now, in
Yeah.
the light that you're painting the cop, uh, it makes them even more embedded on the other side. If what you're saying is true, and you're right, the judge knows so much that he has to be aware that the cop is out there spitting legal shit he has no idea about. And when he
Right.
coming to court, he still backs that idiot cop. It just
Yeah.
shows that that other side is tainted. He
Yeah.
knows this guy's an idiot. He'll still back him over you.
Yeah. I mean, and I see these depositions and stuff of these cops, man, and they ask simple, basic questions and they don't know a goddamn thing. And these guys are still, and they'll get fucking promoted. You know what I mean? They'll get from a fucking, a beat cop all the way up to a damn sergeant, a lieutenant, all that stuff. And that whole time, they didn't learn a goddamn thing. They've been doing it the same way for 20, 30 years.
I think
You know
that's
what I
the
mean?
goal, though, right? Like it's not to do improvements. In fact, whenever someone come with outside suggestions, the cop who's best at deflecting them, the public employee who's best at deflecting them, that's not our job, or we don't do that here. That's a whole different building. Call so and so, he's out of the office. Whatever it is, those guys seem to be the ones who smile in your face. Absolutely, will get on that shit, and you never see them again. Those are the ones who be able to get promoted. The ones who are best at keeping the public outside and letting
Yeah.
the machine run itself.
Yeah. And they're coached on how to write reports and all that stuff and twist our
Right.
words and fucking
Mhm.
twist the fucking facts and the evidence if there is any.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And
Yes.
and then the judges are just, it's like, well, they'll take their word over yours. You know what I mean?
They
And
know what words to speak to the judge. They know that if
Right.
they say he made a furtive movement, he was obstructive, aggressive, non-compliant, they'll have this
Yep.
list of words that
Yep.
bing, 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 bring with the judges
Well-
rather than them saying, oh, well, this is obviously a script.
Well, that's the whole reason why, for instance, it's like, oh, stop resisting, stop resisting. They say that out loud. Even if you aren't resisting, they say that out loud. So they got it on camera and they're like, well, he was resisting.
He's
Yeah, I said it
very
right
aware.
here. I
All
told
he
him
got
not
to
to
do
do
is
this.
say he tensed up. No one can
Yeah.
prove that. The tape can't prove whether he tensed up or not. And so
Right.
they know all he got to do is, he's resisting. Stop resisting. Over here, they used to yell, I ain't been in trouble in a while. But while they search you and they used coming up to your car with the gun pointed, they'd be like, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. You know how scary that is with all the cops out there and they start yelling that shit. You think you're going to die. And they used to do it, throw it around. Oh, he's got a gun. He's got a gun. He's got a gun. You think, oh, I'm finna die for sure now.
Well, even then, it's like, even if they didn't even see one, well, he could have had a gun. He could have had a knife. It's like, well, that's not actual true facts or evidence. That's
Yeah.
your presumption and assumption that he could have had this and he could have had that.
What's the Constitution got to say about that? I wonder. Where it says you must have evidence before you fuck with me.
Right.
You could have. Nigga, are you psychic or are you a police officer? Motherfucker,
Right.
you Dionne Warwick?
Right.
Motherfucker?
Yeah.
See.
What was that? What was that? What was that? What was that
Miss
one?
Cleo.
Yeah, Miss Cleo. That's
Cleo.
that's exactly what I was thinking about. Miss Cleo.
Motherfucker. You were going to kill someone 6
Yeah.
months from today.
Yeah,
Lock him
exactly.
up.
I've seen it in the
What?
cards.
What? It's in the tattoo card. Said never wrong. Lock him up.
God damn, man, that's some going back in the time. Fucking Miss Cleo.
I'm finna leave you in here, man. Run to the kitchen, the bathroom. I can't take you in the bathroom with me because you're a dude. So I'm gonna mute my mic. I'll be back.
Don't be cheating on me in there. I'm paying attention to you said pro se. I hear you, man. There's a lot of stuff when it comes down to it. When it comes down to it, pro se. I don't know how many people really know about your deal out there and stuff like that. I know you try to get a lot more stuff out there. I don't know if you want to put it out there. when it comes down to your stuff that you're doing, when it comes down to all that shit, um, it's a big deal when it comes down to our natural rights, you know, and how we must defend ourselves. I mean, it's like I was saying earlier when it comes down to like, the whole reason why the Second Amendment was pinned on paper is so we can defend ourselves from a tyrannical government. And when those cops are acting in a tyrannical scenario, knowingly and willingly, and violating our civil rights and our the Constitution and stuff like that, we have the lawful right to fucking shoot those sons of bitches. But the way society views it, that or the way society will be propagandized, is that we would be in the wrong for doing that, and then it would be in the right for all those cops out there to fucking unload their magazines on us for defending ourselves. But that's the way this shit has gotten so upside down from the way it was supposed to be in this nation. And it's like I don't know, because I mean, our Second Amendment, it's not about fucking hunting and shit like that. It's literally written, pinned on paper, to protect and ensure our natural God-given right to protect ourselves from and defend ourselves from a tyrannical government. That's the whole reason why the Second Amendment was put on paper. And but the way the system has been played out now is like, you try and actually exercise that natural lawful right, they'll try and demonize you, if not kill you, for doing it. And if they don't kill you, they'll try and wear you down through the court system. You know what I'm saying? And because that's kind of the ones. There's like a 3-step process, to shut you up. If they wanted you to shut up, if they wanted you to stay quiet and not spread the truth, for instance, the first step is to basically cancel you in the public eye. If that doesn't shut you up, they'll just trump up some charges and throw you in fucking jail or prison or something like that. If that doesn't shut you up, they'll just fucking put 2 bullets in the back of your head and claim it justified. That's the problem, though. The whole goddamn thing is it's like a mafia. Seriously, it's like a goddamn mafia that we're dealing with. But it's in a government scenario. They claim it, it's like, theft and extortion is theft and extortion in average day world. But when government does it, that's just policy. You know what I mean? That's just business as usual. You know what I mean? It's fucking bullshit, man. That's why I lean toward anarchism. You know what I mean? Because I don't see any legitimacy in government at all. I don't see any legitimacy at all in any of it. You know what I mean? Because it's just
what you call legitimacy.
Yeah.
If you believe that it was set up from the start to serve itself, then all its purposes become legitimate. But if you buy the freedom and we're going to protect your freedom shit, I don't see any legitimacy there. Everything comes with too high a price. I don't give a fuck if we want to keep people safe on the streets. Okay, we're gonna have to take your bread. You pay us taxes so we can build the streets. Then you pay us tolls because we got to keep up the streets, and you got to keep up the taxes, and you're gonna have to pay all of these fees and registrations for your vehicle. And if you forget to turn your headlights on or your blinkers stay on too long, we're gonna get money from you. But you said you wanted us to keep you safe. The price is always too high, whatever you ask of these fucks.
Right. And that's the thing too, to hold them accountable. I mean, seriously, man, there's a part of me is like, all these fucking corrupt motherfuckers, I want to see these motherfuckers in fucking prison or they need to be hung. You know what I mean? Or like a violent revolt. You know, it's like one or the other. You know what I mean? Seriously.
France, yeah, French Revolution shit.
Well, I mean, you know, like I said, more like a revolt. Okay, you know, if I was to use the words in a sense, I think a revolt is more accurate because a revolution is 360 degrees. It's a full circle. You just end up right where you started. That's a
Yeah.
revolution. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't see a revolution being actually what we should be having or actually having. A revolt is more like it. I mean, you know, like look what's going on in like, what is it? What is it? There's just recently, a couple days ago, what was it?
Venezuela,
Well, it's not. It might have been
Somalia,
no.
Argentina.
Well, there's a couple others, man. It's like Barcelona or so. I can't remember something.
Okay.
I can't remember where it was exactly, but they're fucking burning down motherfuckers and shit. And you know, they're taking it, you know. But I'm curious what's going to fill that vacuum in a sense. You know what I mean? And is it going to be right back where they started, or is it going to be better? I don't know.
What we wanted to. I'm sure that America somehow, it'll come out later, collapsed their economy, took out their leadership to implant whoever and whatever we wanted, and that's favorable to us. That's the way it looks like with every country. Some dude was just running off all the countries of the people that's coming in here, and how America destroyed them when they were better off before America fucked with them, and now they trying to run over here, and America is blaming them. He's like, you can't name me one country. He was confident where the immigrants, where it ain't America's fault, and he was naming how they done took out. They had a leader in Mexico who kept the drug people in check, and the CIA went in there, toppled dude, got somebody favorable, put to the U.S., and the drug craze went crazy. Cartels started taking over, and the people got all afraid and ran over here, and we like, go back, fix your own country. Nigga, you had a hand in it.
Was it pro se? You said, okay, this exactly is why I took action and was harmed by unconstitutional law. I mean, are you going to go for like was it 1983 or 241 or 242 type of thing? You know, because deprivation of rights under color of law, or conspiracy of rights against rights color of law, or was it
241, 242, something like that.
Yeah. And those, see those things, man, it's like even trying to get litigation on that. It's so hard because I mean, seriously, there are a lot of government officials, cops and all that other stuff. If they are convicted of these things, the maximum penalty is death. And that is really what needs to happen to set a message to these fuckers. You know what I mean? Is put them on the death penalty.
I think okay, that's one way of looking at it because it's gotten so drastic. But another way was if you started today just making them hold up to the standards, you wouldn't have to kill them. If a cop got caught on video running a red light or something, the people be out there filming them trying to catch them breaking the law, and he has to pay the ticket out of his own pocket. Hold on, let's see.
Well, I mean, that's another thing too. It's like trying to get that, because like I said, it's on that conflict of interest. Who when the criminals themselves are the cops, the prosecutors, the judges, who do you call to get any kind of remedy out of this? You know what I mean? How do you get any kind of remedy out of this when the main ones that are all, this conflict of interest against you, using your wealth in the form of taxes to use it against you?
That's right.
You know what I mean? How do you hold them accountable? How do you get remedy out of this shit? Right. Because it really pisses me off when cops, they'll murder somebody. They'll get no fucking charges, no criminal fucking prosecution or anything like that, and they'll get the opportunity to retire or whatever, or quit, and then they'll just move on to the next department down in the next county, doing the same shit like they've been doing, and maybe even get a promotion. And that's fucked up. It's like, where's the fucking remedy in that?
Did you see that Susan Bassey? I seen it before, but San Joaquin just highlighted it yesterday, the day before, where she's got this cop. She go in to get some records or something. She asked for his name and badge, And he like, it's right there. Conservative identify. He said, what do you want, lady? What do you want? And he never does. It go on for a super long time until a supervisor or something come or whatever reason he finally ID. And he's just treating her so shitty. And she look up his salary, his salary, 340 grand a year,
Yeah.
or for something. I'm like, this nigga down to making $500,000 a
And that's
year
no,
and
dude.
don't even know how to treat the fucking people.
Yeah, and I was sitting there. I was watching something. It was something on the same level. It wasn't San Joaquin, but it was on the same level. But it was on like a, these county planning things, and they were trying to sit there and say, well, we're going to give ourselves a raise. We're going to vote on giving
Right.
ourselves a fucking raise. And I'm like, what the fuck? These people, they're not doing anything for the actual people that live in that area, and then they're becoming millionaires to
Yeah.
do it out of our wealth, our sweat and tears, and our fucking work that we do. You know what I mean? In the form of taxes. And then they
It's
just
not
vote their
about,
own. I
it
wish
ain't
I could
about,
vote.
it ain't about you anymore. You get left out, and it is about the business dealings and shit like that.
Yeah,
Like, now
yeah.
suddenly the people don't really have a lot to do with it. If there's a company who we need to deal with, who Bill knows, and that'll
Yep.
help Bill push our so and so, and we can get
Yep.
that passed over there. It suddenly has nothing to do with what the people voted you
Oh, I
in
know.
for.
That's how. I mean, that happens a lot down here in Florida because you got these builders, these fucking developers and stuff like that. They want to develop a certain area or something like that, and they'll get the fucking politicians and all the fucking the county officials and all that stuff in their pocket. And the people
Yeah.
they don't want it, for instance, or whatever. They don't care. Because the developers, they'll get their way. Next thing you know, people are getting their fucking homes taken away and eminent domain or fucking whatever. And then the developers come in there and fucking wipe everything out and fucking start doing their fucking shit. And and that becomes a big problem. And that pisses me off, especially down here in Florida. I mean, it ends up being the most invasive species down here in Florida is the fucking housing developers.
Right.
I'm serious. They're wiping out all the fucking beautiful parts of fucking old Florida and
Right.
fucking just scraping it off and putting fucking shit fucking housing developments.
And the shitty part is the housing developments are shit, and they're charging high end prices for shit quality. Because that's what us greedy fucks do.
Well, that's what they do. They'll sit there and they'll build this fucking shitty ass homes just so they can sell it, and they'll get out, and they'll go somewhere else and they'll do something else somewhere else, something like that. But that's the whole profit is just to go in there and fucking build this fucking shitty and say that, oh, now we've got low income housing or whatever.
I'm reminded of a story where this person, I think it was a black couple, I don't know why that sticks in my head, had bought this lot and with the city to put a house on it and all of that stuff. And then the city told them, oh, well, there was a hiccup. Unless you get this license, you can't build. And they made them jump through hoops. It was that girl, Tiffany Henyard. And they would not give him the permission, said the land was not slotted. So you couldn't build a home on that land. After he spent all his money and spent all them years fighting the court, he was like, I'd spent so much money, I had to give it up. What they do with the land is they give it to one of their peoples who has a company, and they give him a loan so that he can build a bunch of houses on the same land they said that was unfit for houses.
Yeah.
I
mean, and they're doing the same thing with these data centers too now. They're buying, they're getting all these fucking farmlands and stuff like that. They're doing like eminent domain and whatever and all that stuff. And some of the ways they're subsidizing some of these things is the average people are paying higher electrical bills, and that's getting subsidized to put these fucking these data centers in and stuff like that. And that's there's a lot of people in some of these areas around here where these fucking things are getting built. They don't even want it. But the fucking county and all that shit, they don't care. You know what I mean? They're getting paid to do this shit. They're getting the kickbacks or some kind of fucking, scratch my back, I'll scratch yours type of bullshit. And and then just go through it. And it's like we the people are just taking up the tab. You know what I'm saying? That's what
Yeah.
pisses me off about like even like litigation or something like that. Even if you were to, win a case and you get money out of it, well, those cops that were involved or anything like that, they're not going to get any, they're not going to feel any of that fucking shit because the average people in their taxes are going to pay for that fucking that settlement. The
Even
cops
more,
are
like
gonna,
you said earlier, the cop's going to end up getting a promotion because he didn't
right,
get penalized, and those aggressive tactics are going to pay off other times. So as long as
right.
there's no penalty, everybody who looks at him says he's productive. That incident there wasn't his fault. I'm finna get off of here, man. I got a couple things I got to do. Man.
All
I'll
right,
talk to
man.
you
All right, man.
later, pal.
Later. Yeah. Just fucking, it's one of them things, man. It just gets over a big, more and more bullshit and stuff like that. I wish there was a way. I wish I knew how a remedy that that you know basically all of us can actually you know do. I mean, even what you're sitting there talking about per se. I'm gonna tell you something, man. Most people um don't know enough about the law itself to basically go in there and quote unquote represent themselves. All right. And I mean, it's like most people should, and including myself, if I ever go into like a traffic or some kind of traffic infraction, I had to go to court for it. So there's certain things that need to be fucking. You got to have some questions answered by the judge right off the bat, fucking right at the beginning. What jurisdiction are we under? Who's at fault? I mean, who's the injured party? You know what I mean? And if the state is the injured party, you're gonna, that's basically unconstitutional because the state can't be the injured party because the state is a legal fiction. You know what I mean? It's like, the state versus whatever, it's like, well, shit, that's fucking unconstitutional right there. But they'll sit there and say that the state is the injured party and all this other shit. And, and they'll try and fucking push all that stuff, and most people don't know enough about it where, they can actually fight that shit. And lawyers, man, they're under the bar. They don't give a flying fuck, quite honestly, because they're being trained by the goddamn bar, which it doesn't really give a crap about your fucking rights. They're just looking for a paycheck. You know what I mean? It gets really bad. It's like, because I mean, we're not even operating under common law anymore. We're operating under a military tribunal fucking admiralty law in the court systems today. So how in the hell can you get remedy from that? And that's the problem. That's why I say we're like in this economic fucking slavery that we're born into. And that's exactly why, it's like why they want to keep us all believing that we're drivers, we're not travelers, you know what I mean? And all this other shit, we're not free people. And I don't give a shit, people can sit there and believe that we're free, but that's not the reality. The reality is we're all basically born into this fucking slave fucking plantation. And then it gets even worse when they fucking try and push this fucking digital ID and digital currency and all this other shit into play, because that's a globalist fucking UN fucking one world government fucking initiative. That's not an organic fucking American thing, and that's, it's fucking bullshit. We're being influenced and operated from foreign governments, that are basically controlling our nation, and through the corporation posing as the government. And that's another thing too. It's like, there's more than just one constitution. It's the constitution that we learned in school and we, seem to know and all this other stuff. That's not what the corporation posing as the government that is the all capital letter fucking the United States operates under. They operate on a whole nother constitution. So they don't give a flying fuck about our supposed rights and all this other shit because they, that's not what that's not what they operate under. And we operate on a military tribunal fucking admiralty law. That's the reason why we're been in a state of war basically from the fucking get go. You know what I mean? They keep that fucking perpetual war status the whole time, you know. And that's other reason why we can't get any remedy. If we were in a common law scenario, we can get some remedy out of it, and maybe actually hold these motherfuckers accountable. Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. There's, like I said, there's a lot of these government officials that deserve the fucking firing squad. I mean, that's what they're guilty of crimes that their punishment deserves a fucking firing squad, or hung by a fucking their neck. I mean, technically, that's what it really should happen, But they sit there and act like we're just slaves to them. We work for them, and they're the kings and queens that rule over us, and that's how they act, and it seems like all the way down from the tippy top all the way down to the people just answering fucking telephones. They get this fucking this mentality. I'm above you. I'm better than you because I work for the government. Blah blah blah. You know what I mean? It's like you're just a civilian. You know what I mean? That's all bullshit, man. That's why I say, some ways, it's like, yeah, and I don't give a shit if the fucking, NSA and the FBI look at me as a radical. I mean, that's what our fucking forefathers were, considered by the King George, was fucking radicals and tax evaders and all this other shit. That's exactly what that the king fucking thought of us. And but so I don't really give a shit if they call me a radical, because I'm going by the exact intention of the fucking of what this nation is supposed to be. You know what I'm saying? And we've been what's up, KP? We've been fed a bunch of lies all our life on what it is, this fantasy, that we're free people and all this other shit. In reality, we're not. We're just fucking. We've been born into this fucking monetary slave system, and I worry about it. I mean, well, okay, I wouldn't say I worry about it. I'm really concerned about it, because I'm concerned. I'm more not really concerned about myself, because there's a lot of things I can do on my own in my own life where I can opt out of that shit. But I'm concerned about future generations, the children that aren't even born yet, that'll be born into this fucking system if it continues to go in the trajectory it's going. And they'll be born into this not even knowing that, they won't even know that there was even the existence of rights. They'll just I don't know. It drives me nuts. And I want it. I mean, there's so many people I say, well, that's what you vote. That's why you got to vote. And I'm like, dude, you cannot vote or comply your way out of tyranny. And voting is where it got us where we are today. For 300 fucking years of voting has gotten us where we are today. And voting to me, it's, like I said, I've said this before. Voting to me is like, it's like it's the literal definition of insanity. Insanity is like doing the exact same thing over and over again and expecting different results. That's exactly what voting has done. It's insane to sit there and do the exact same thing over and over again every 4 fucking years and expecting different results. That's insanity. And that's exactly why we've gotten where we are today, is because we've given up our sovereignty and basically just, I Oh, fucking A, man. It drives me nuts. That's the reason why, in a lot of times, man, I get so tired of this shit because I've said this shit for 30 fucking years. And it seems like nobody's fucking listening. Nobody's fucking paying attention. Nobody gives a flying fuck. You know what I mean? I every once in a while, I get glimmers of hope, if I wanted to use that word. I get glimmers every once in a while, but it's just not enough. We need massive, like millions and millions of people, world fucking wide, all on the same side, fucking singing the same song, on the same page, and fucking rooting out tyranny wherever it fucking hides. You know what I'm saying? And until that fucking happens, but it seems like for thousands of fucking years, for 3, 4, 5,000 years, it seems like evil has won all the time. I haven't seen any evidence of good actually prevailing in 3,000 years. You know what I'm saying? It just, so, I don't know. And my lifetime is so damn short in the grand scheme of it all. I don't think I'll ever see it in my lifetime. I hope so much inside. If I was to use the word hope, I hope I see the beginnings of it, of good prevailing over evil. But yeah, it just, I don't know. We've been programmed for thousands of years into believing this shit, and this is what we've been taught. We've been programmed for thousands of fucking years, thinking that we must have a ruler, we must be governed, and we've got to do this. You know what I mean? I just don't understand it. In my opinion, it's like, if we cannot govern ourselves, what makes anybody think that a few select people can govern millions? If we can't govern ourselves, how can a few select govern millions? I don't understand the rationale and the logic in that. Because I mean, seriously, man, it just irritates the shit out of me, and I'm sick of it. I want to see remedy. Like I said, I mean, like all these fucking corrupt motherfuckers that are in government. I want to see some people getting fucking hauled away in handcuffs and put in prison for life, or the ultimate punishment is put in front of a fucking firing squad. I need to see that happening to be, in a sense, evidence of good prevailing over evil. And it's like what me and Snooks were talking about earlier, and she was sitting there talking about this Venezuela thing, and sitting there taking out all these drug boats in international waters, and then fucking taking that oil tanker and stuff like that. And it's the same shit over and over again. It's like every fucking conflict that we've gotten into in this nation, every conflict that we've gotten involved in, when it comes down to the United States corporation government. They've been going against every fucking nation out there that is not beholden to the central banking cartels. They're not using the fiat currency and the petrodollar. They're doing their own money and all this other stuff. Well, the central banking cartels don't like that, so they've got to take those countries out. So if you look at the history, every fucking conflict that we've gotten involved in has been with nations that are trying to segregate themselves away from that central banking cartel. All wars are bankers' wars, and it's all about fucking money. That's the same thing with, like I said, about the Venezuela thing. I think that's about money, man. It's about control and resources and shit like that. You know what I mean? And they can sit there and talk about cartels and all this other shit too. That might be a factor, but that's not the reason. That's not the underlying root of the problem, or the root of the reason. The root of the reason is they want control over the resources and and force them into uh um you know, into their system, their fucking fiat currency, their fucking petrodollar, their fucking central banking cartel, fucking mafia. You know, I don't know, man. Like I said, man, you know, there's you know, that was why I was sitting there telling the Snooks earlier. You know, she was like, "Why you haven't been on YouTube in a while?" I'm like, "Well, you know, like I said, I was like, there's a part of me that just gets really fucking sick of it. You know what I mean? And it just it makes my head hurt. You know, and I don't have all the answers. And that's the reason why I like talking to all you guys. I mean, seriously, because I don't have all the answers. But I know if we put all our heads together worldwide, I think we can come up with solutions. But, you know, I know the ultimate goal is in the NWO, but the fucking, you know, that's what we gotta actually worldwide fucking gotta go against. We've gotta stand up against that. I mean, not just here in America. I mean, world fucking wide. People of this fucking world, we've got to get on the same side, the same fucking song, and on the same page and go against this shit. We cannot allow this fucking tyranny to fucking rule over us. You know, this masters of the goddamn planet and controlling all the resources where we can't fucking eat, sleep, or fucking breathe without their permission or paying a goddamn fee to do it. You know, fuck all that bullshit. You know, we're the only species on this goddamn planet that's got to pay a fee just to exist. What the fuck is that all about? We're the only goddamn species on this fucking planet that's got to pay a fee just to fucking exist. It is insanity. You know, I mean, I put a meme up on my damn community tab the other day. I was like, on the voting scenario. Voting is like, it's about the same exact thing as writing a wish list to fucking Santa Claus. You know what I mean? That's basically the same goddamn thing. You know, I don't know. But you know, like I said, I mean, you know, I every once in a while, like recently, I've been, you know, I've been looking for things to make me laugh because I get really fucking frustrated and fucking fed up with this bullshit that is trying to infiltrate us from all directions. And you know, and like I said, I mean, you know, it seems like I'm beating my head against the wall and nobody's wanting to pay attention. So, you know, I got to take my mind off it every once in a while. I just got to watch some fucking stupid video of some guy smacking himself in the face with a 2x4 just to make me laugh. You know what I mean? You know, and none of us are guaranteed tomorrow. I mean, you know, but I'm concerned about the people that'll be here after I'm gone that haven't even been born yet, what they're going to have to deal with if we don't do something now. You know what I mean? If I can't deal with the demons in my own life now, once I'm gone, the next generations will have to deal with the demons that I didn't deal with and their demons. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, the demons that my dad wasn't able to deal with before he was, you know, died. When he died, those demons were, I inherited his demons along with my own. And I don't want to pass that on to the next generations. I don't want to pass on those demons that I've got and the demons that I inherited down to the next generation. It's like passing the buck and stuff like that. I don't, and we've been doing that for so goddamn long as a fucking species, you know, for thousands of years. We've just passing the buck on to the next generations. They'll deal with it. They'll deal with it. They'll deal with it. You know what I mean? It never gets resolved. It never gets fucking, it never see remedy out of it. And I'm sick of it. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why more people aren't sick of it. You know, I mean, well, in some ways I do get it, you know, because we're all just trying to live our life and be left alone and all that shit. But the only problem is the other side will not ever leave us alone. And they're willing to murder us. They're willing to go scorched earth and rule over the fucking ashes. What are we willing to do? You know, what are we willing to do? You know, but that's also a question that each of us has got to ask ourselves personally. You know, you're going to have to sit back and have a serious conversation with yourself. What are you willing to do? You know, how far are you willing to go? You know, when governments around the world are willing to murder you for its beliefs, are you willing to kill them for yours? It would be justified because it'd be self-defense. But I don't know. I need to watch some fucking stupid videos and to make me laugh. I need to watch some fat kids falling off a bicycle or something like that so I can get me a laugh in or something like that so I can get this shit out of my head for a little while. I appreciate all you guys for coming in here and hanging out. I'll see you guys on the dark side, you know. 1122 Wingnut Radio. I'm back out.